I know, right? Hey, everybody, this is Podcastforwe, a podcast for us as well as a podcast for you. I'm your host, K-Dog, as well as A-Eb-Dog over there. We're here to discuss the finer things in life. We're going to talk about Loki, mostly. Pretty much this is a Loki cast, because we're going to review 3 episodes, right? I would think, yeah, 3, 4, and 5. Well, we watched 2 episodes. I actually listened to them for audio quality, and they're pretty good. So if you haven't heard our first and second episode, get there. And then we're just going to catch everything up on this episode. Any news in the world for you?
Like me personally, or stuff that I've been paying attention to?
Just in general, before we get started. Anything you want to bring up?
Went to Disneyland. And
I remember you guys talking about that, Star Wars or something.
Yeah, Rise of the Resistance is legit.
Yeah.
Hard to get into though, but if you're lucky enough to get a reservation for one, you got to get a reservation for Disneyland, then you got to get a reservation to go into Rise of the Resistance. But I would recommend against like researching the
just
ride.
Go in.
Yeah, just go in, because I hadn't looked at any of it, and there were some times I was just like, this is amazing.
Oh wait, so you got a Marvel land,
yeah,
and then you got a Star Wars land.
It's Galaxy's Edge, which is they I don't know how they made it so big, and it's got to be nestled up against the 5, but it feels like you're far away. It was awesome, dude. It was awesome. The Galaxy's Edge was really cool. It's really immersive, you know, and all the people that are there, it's like you're on another planet. So all the people there are dressed like how people would be from that planet or whatever. Nobody's really wearing, the regular Disney colors with the name badges. They're all wearing, just Galaxy's Edge stuff, because it's supposed to be like an outpost. Is the
so
idea.
to do all 3 places, you got to pay it like for a package, or can you just go
all 3? What do you mean all 3 places?
So you got a Star Wars thing, and then you got Marvel thing.
Yeah.
And they got
the Marvel thing is at California Adventure.
Okay.
So that's a separate park.
So Star Wars is part of
Disneyland.
Oh wow. So you have to pay for both. California event if you wanted to do both.
But right now, California residents get 3 tickets for $250, which is a deal because 1 ticket is $140.
Yeah.
To me it was worth it. I mean,
oh yeah, it's not like you're going every day.
Right. And
it is an experience. That's why you go.
And as big a fan as I am of Star Wars, it was worth it for me. Like I went with like these little kids, right? It was 3 adults and 3 kids. And the whole time I'm like, watching them, mother ducking this whole thing. But when we got to Galaxy's Edge and I knew I was near the Millennium Falcon, I like walked away. I like forgot that I was.
Oh yeah, you're fuck
these kids. Forgot.
If they get kidnapped, I don't care.
They got this. I don't care. They don't give a shit about it. I'm walking up to my shit right now and soaking it in. And then we got there early enough and went straight to that motherfucker. So where I could get that picture that I shared with y'all, where it's me and the Millennium Falcon. I'm doing the Han Solo pose.
I want to lick that.
There's nobody else in the shot. And so yeah, dude, I was fucking geeking the fuck out on that fucking thing. I felt like the first time I saw the Endeavor, because I'm also a big fan of like the shuttle program and NASA and stuff like that. And the first time I saw the Space Shuttle Endeavor, I was almost teared up, dude. And I got that same feeling again. And then they're playing like music, like ominous, like building up music. It was really cool. It was really cool.
I remember the first time I went to Star Tours, when it was like that. And I was pretty blown away because I had never seen anything like it. And then fast forward with my kid, I went there and it was pretty cool. But I have not yet experienced Galaxy's Edge. I remember reading about it, but I moved out by then. Chances are we'll probably go to Disney World and hopefully they have something like that.
They have it. Yeah, they have that, and they have Rise of the Resistance.
Nice.
So yeah, dude, that's.
Did they have any? No, I don't want. You know what? I don't want it spoiled. Yeah. All right. Hey, well, let's get into this. Loki. So we've watched episode. I have notes.
We only have 1 episode left after this one.
Yes. Yes, we do. All right. Season 3, episode 3, Loki. So what'd you think about that episode?
Was that the one where he's kind of learning more about Sylvie?
Well, okay, so let's recap kind of. So see, episode 2 happens. They figured out she's hiding in apocalypse events, and they go through the portal, and then Loki follows in suit. That's when the episode begins. We find out where he went. So they accidentally went to actually no. Where do they go? Because now I got to think about it. Because she goes through there, and he goes through it too.
Did they end up at Lamentus, the planet that's falling apart?
But that doesn't make sense because she then comes back. Yeah, she comes back to that's where she's going. She's going to the TVA to destroy it. And then she's fucking people up left and right. Loki followed after her. And then, now I remember now. And then they almost get caught. And then Loki, with his little temp pad, takes them to Lamentus.
Right.
And that is the episode. And then, you just find out.
Episode 4, they're on Lamentus and all shit's breaking.
No, episode 3, they're on Lamentus. It's episode 3. So
episode happened in one episode?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot. And we're going to go through it. So they're on Lamentus, right? And they're talking to each other. And as it turns out, so we were talking about this last episode about the time of an apocalypse, how much time she could be in one. So I guess it varies because in this one in particular, she could be there for 12 hours. Because she says, as they're walking, Loki goes, "How long do we have?" And then she goes, 12 hours. And so, I was wondering, how is she sleeping and how all this shit. So in this particular area, she can be there for 12 hours and they will not catch her.
Yeah, she can go there, take a nap, and then wake up and
Yeah, well, take a nap. 12 hours. 12 hours. That's a long time.
Well, when she, like you said, she has to sleep. So I don't know.
She could probably go a day before. It's not.
So is she descended from the ice giants?
So in that episode, when they're in the train, they're in a train going to this thing called the Ark, and they're trying to steal a power cell or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so they're having a conversation. A couple little things happen here and there, but one thing he does say is he found out he's an ice giant. She then says they told her when she was first born, so she already knows. This is pretty important when we get to the very end of when we talk about episode 5. But so she knows she's an ice giant from the beginning. So that changes everything if you think about it. So she's a chick. She knows she's an ice giant early. So it's not, she doesn't feel that betrayal that Loki feels.
She was lied to, yeah.
Yeah, in Thor 1. So there you go. Hey, for all intents and purposes, maybe she was set up, the reason she's a variance because she's a hero, Because Loki still has mannerisms of a hero, but he's kind of broken,
And then, she was taken as a child, though, so maybe.
Oh, yes, but continued on the path. They're telling her the truth. She's idolizing so in episodes, we're not there yet, but in the next episode, you see her as a little kid playing with the Valkyries. Mm-hmm. In Thor Ragnarok, they're talking about Loki knows a lot about the Valkyries, and it seems to be Thor's into them too. So it's okay. So a lot of things happen on this train ride, which I thought was pretty cool. So she's talking about her magic powers, enchantment, whatever. He does his thing with lightning. It turns out she teaches herself magic, and Loki was trained by what's her name? So who's to be stronger?
Different kinds of magic, though.
Yeah, because she had to learn on her own.
Yeah, she had to learn some shit on.
Yeah. And if it's magic per se, okay, in Thor 1, magic and science is kind of the same thing. But Doctor Strange then changes it into you just have to study it. So in WandaVision, it turns out magic, there's a science to it. So, following this path, right? The magic that Loki knows and the magic that Wanda knows and the magic that what's her name knows, the Agatha, they're all kind of connected. So it could be said then that some of the shit that's going on in the TVA, there could be some magic shit like runes and shit, That's why she couldn't use her powers on when she gets into TVA. She tries to
one big rune.
Yeah, rune. I immediately thought it was a thing in which the helmet or something. But she then says later on, she just has to touch your body, a body part, penis, balls, whatever, and then she could then enchant you. And then so she touched the dude's head, she couldn't do it. So it could be said that there's runes there, and so effectively runes is a thing,
Right.
So like the world of Asgard and their magic, it does translate to like Earth magic. So like one could fight the other or whatever.
So then, are powers magic?
Well, what are we talking like Captain Marvel?
Is Thor's strength and durability, is that magic? Could he be shot there?
I don't know, because so Hulk in Avengers, Hulk is smashing Loki. So what does that mean? Does that mean he has like hardcore durability, or does he have?
Remember, Loki's a different race. I'm talking about Thor or somebody.
Well, yeah, but like I'm trying to translate. Like, so does Loki have the same strength? Not the same strength, but maybe somewhere near it.
I've never gotten the sense that Loki's near Thor's physical power level.
So when he puts Mjolnir and Thor 1 on him and keeps him there, would that, okay, if it was Bob from Illinois and you put that hammer on him, would it smash him?
You just wouldn't be able to move it.
Okay.
It wouldn't smash him, but he wouldn't be able to lift against it.
So the hammer's a bit wonky and it's magic then.
Well, I mean,
but you know what I mean?
You can hang the hammer. He actually hangs the hammer on a coat rack.
I've seen that
in the second one.
Duh.
So it doesn't have crazy weight. It just has crazy inertia.
I don't know, right? I mean, you don't know.
Somebody else could come and try and lift the hammer, but they're not going to be able to lift it because they're not worthy.
Yeah.
So but that kind of gets away from what we're asking here. What is it? Power level, and does being at the TVA affect that, or just magic powers?
Like, I don't know how strong these Norse people are, because like Loki takes like if Hulk would have smashed a human, like when he does like puny god, when he does that, he's smashing him. I mean, that a normal human couldn't take that. So does that mean then
he's stronger than a human? That's for sure.
Is he? I mean,
I think he's stronger than a human.
He has to be, right?
Yeah, I think he's stronger than a human. But I think
so
Thor's
the TVA
more durable because Thor takes that punishment and still gets up and fights. And he's not beat up or anything.
No, okay, obviously he's stronger, but okay, let's go to the next level. Are the TVA agents as strong as Loki then? Because when they do fight, they punch him and it like he
you know what? I'm starting to lean towards all powers are gone at the TVA because the stones have no power there.
Well, that's how
the stones aren't magic.
But they don't specify whether they only work in the reality that they're in. Even though we know that from the comics, we don't know if that's a thing in which we don't know. We just don't know.
What if your powers are linked to the physical laws of your universe? So then
that makes sense, right?
You don't have them anymore.
But like you're talking powers, right? So
I'm talking like strength and durability and like powers versus magic.
Yeah. It's tricky, right?
Before you can learn to be Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, do you really pose some questions here? Because think about it. So they got the collar on him. He can't use magic, but does he still have the durability of a god?
Well, the collar is just to move him back and forth through time.
Because remember when he was doing this
time shackle. When he
was trying to do magic. Remember when he was trying to do magic? He was doing that, and then
even without the collar, he can't do it.
You think it's from get go? He has no powers.
Well, I'm wondering. I'm thinking about your rune theory, and
maybe
runes would apply to everything else, because also Doctor Strange's magic is tied to the multiverse, right?
Okay.
So he's responsible for protecting this reality. So since his magic might be tied into Wanda's magic, and that can also be tied to runes, could runes be basically like applying like a reality nullifier, you know? No matter where you at, it puts you in a place like the TVA.
Well, as explained in WandaVision, whoever does the runes, they're the ones who ultimately have the power.
Okay.
So
well, that would explain why the whoever's running the TVA still has their powers.
If that's a thing, and I think we're overthinking it in the sense of like I don't even think I'm with you on all of this. This all makes sense, but I don't think the writers are thinking like that though. You know what I mean? I hope. I fucking hope they are. That would be so awesome if they were, because that's some good world building. So let's talk about durability. So is he durable because of magic, or is he just special?
If he could be shot.
Yeah.
because I don't know. They beat the shit out of him when they first find him in the first episode.
Yeah, they do. And there you go. There, good job. So he's on Earth and they punch him and it hurts him. So there's no runes where he's at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they have to be as strong as him. They have to be, because if Hulk is able to go boom, 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 that fucked him up, right?
Well, that brings up something else. So if everybody at TVA is a variant, were they chosen because maybe they have special abilities or powers?
Probably. There you go.
And so they were picked like, hey, you're not normal. We're gonna use you.
Mm-hmm. Stands to reason. I think there you go. I think we literally figured out something that nobody gives a fuck about. like they have to have durability or in strength, because they fucking took him on Earth and there's no rune. So if there's a rune thing and it's and we just now established that Loki's strength isn't magic. That's him.
I need to go back and watch the first Thor to see the fight between him and Thor.
He is hurting him. He is punching him.
Fight. Yeah,
they do fight. But it makes sense, though, if they have strength to themselves, because, I mean, although Thor is, of course, strong and shit, so he should be then stronger, but they have, like, that power. I mean, like, Thor survived an explosion in space and a sun hitting him. And this is just that, you know what I mean? So,
and the Hulk hitting him.
And
no, you know what? The sun hitting him, I think that's probably the biggest one. Him taking the full blast.
Yeah, because like if the Hulk hit as hard as a solar flare, I mean things.
And he wasn't holding Mjolnir.
No,
you know it was just him right there lensing that fucking thing.
Yeah, getting burnt and taking it. So there you go. We know that. Okay, so then shit. I mean, Loki's pretty strong. And I have other examples of how strong he is. So in Lamentis, here, check this shit out. His telekinesis is so cosmic because I'll show you. Let me share this fucking shit. Share this shit. Share this shit. Share. Share. Okay. I set this up for you. Can you see it? See what I'm talking about right here?
I see it.
All right, ready? Look what he did. So he
I've got a black screen on my side.
Oh, you do? You don't see what I'm seeing? I shared it though.
You're sharing your screen, but I'm wondering if
because it's Disney. I'm sharing a Loki scene, so maybe it's blocking.
I think it's because you're using Disney Plus.
Yeah. Fuck. Well, let me stop that shit then. So basically, fuck, for those who haven't seen it, that kind of sucks. That makes sense though. I think that Disney would block it on Zoom. So in Lamentis, when they're trying to escape, which is a great scene. It's like a nonstop scene, but it's a trick though. It's really not nonstop. There's
it's supposed to be a one, but no,
it's not a one shot. But like it's cool. So there's a building coming down on him, and he goes, "Oh, I got this," and he stops it. This huge building, it's huge, and he puts it back. In fact, if you watch frame by frame, now I wonder if this is just laziness, but it goes back into its original form. So he's using telekinesis to put it back to its
And
original
fix it.
form. Yeah, why wouldn't he just throw it aside or something like that? I don't know.
It seems a little too careful for him.
But they don't call back to it. So we'll just say it's telekinesis. I mean, it has to be. It can't be time gem, because what are the odds? Because he does pick up a time gem. What are the odds that he pocketed all the time gems? You know? But even then, there's millions of realities. You know, how do you know that this momentous reality would go to that time gem? But they never bring it up. We're on episode 5. They never bring it up.
Well, that's the other problem, isn't it? Is the TVA working within the multiverse? Is
They have
the
to be.
multiverse? Well, is the multiverse are other universes on their own timeline?
Yeah, they have to be. No. I got an answer. They do this in episode 1, but it is propaganda. So you got your sacred timeline, the one timeline. All your other dimensions do not count. So anytime they come out, they destroy
all
it.
your other branches of that timeline. But is that timeline and its branches specific to one universe?
No. See, the branch comes out and it can't do anything else because they prune it.
Right. But that branch, again, is tied to one timeline, the sacred timeline, for that universe. Does each universe get its own timeline?
I think you're mixed. You're conflict. It's okay. So you got the one universe, right? And in this one, no. Let me finish. Let me finish. So you got this. You got this timeline, and I guess. Well, you know what? They never established that, right?
No,
because they have established alternate realities from different timelines, though. Okay, so I think their dimensions and the realities are one and the same. So if you go far along enough on the sacred timeline, every divergent timeline is a different reality. So, and they prune them, apparently.
Right.
So well, I don't even know where
I'm trying. We're trying to suss out the distinction between whether or not different timelines constitute different universes.
Yeah, I think that you got your different timelines equal different realities. Because
within the same universe, I think.
Yeah.
And I think you can have another universe with its own timeline.
But then there would be more than one timeline.
More than one sacred timeline. Each universe would have its own sacred timeline.
Oh, well, then what will be the point of pruning?
To protect that universe.
That one universe.
But then again, we don't even know what well, hopefully we'll find out in the next episode, right? Why they picked that sacred timeline.
I think that they're doing a thing in which each timeline. Okay, so you get your sacred timeline, one and done. That's its universe, and that is the way it is. Every divergent timeline creates a set of probability of a different universe. So I think that they're creating their own universes in that way. But because they prune it, it doesn't exist. So
go ahead.
So Loki's a chick, right? In this reality. So this is an entire universe, this totally different universe. And they fucking prune it. So it doesn't exist anymore. Apparently. We don't know. We don't understand reset yet, which we will bring up towards when we get to 6. Let's just focus on 3 though. So I don't even know what we're talking about. So they're on the train. So telekinesis. I wanted to talk about this. So Loki gets telekinesis, right? So what the fuck, man? So is his power that? So he's able to stop a building and put it back into its original. So either it's bad animation, like they just said, let's just reverse it. So they didn't do it. So I'll allow it because they don't bring it up. They don't bring it up as a time stone thing. Or is just Loki's that really? He's got that much power?
When else has he used telekinesis?
Okay, so it turns out I wasn't paying attention, but in Thor 2, he does use telekinesis. So he's in the prison. He's pissed about his mother being killed, and he has a tantrum. You know, like when Sylvie does a thing where she gets a tantrum, she gets the green shit, and she goes, and then some dirt moves. So he does the same thing. He goes, and then he goes like that, and then the entirety of his room gets in disarray.
Well, maybe he's getting stronger, because Thor gets stronger too as the movies go.
Maybe more realization than stronger, because he does get stronger, but it's more like a realization. I don't know.
Well, I think in the first episode, he also makes a distinction between like a projection and a clone, right? A
Okay,
clone
which
is a
is important.
physical,
Which is important.
which becomes important because a physical clone, you're creating something physical that can move against something else.
Yeah, you were
So
right. I thought it was a one-off, but it does reign true in episode 5.
well, it starts to justify or provide a rationale for why he'd be able to move things. He's basically not creating like another Loki or a clone, but just a physical barrier because he's able to do that.
Yeah, I'm with that, but like the power that he has, though, he can move a tower that big, and I'm like, if he has that much strength, how come he hasn't done that before? Like he shouldn't. For him to move a building of that nature, then that means either two things.
Odd.
One, the people he fights are stronger than that building. The
Dude,
inertia.
something
What?
came out in episode 5 that I'm wondering if they're going to use it as an out.
Well, put a pin in it. We're not there yet.
I know. You got to remind me about it.
All right, episode 5 reminding process. Who's this bullshit? All right, Adrian, whatever. All right, let's do it. All right. So we will telekinesis. And you know what was cool? Two things I thought was cool about that episode. What'd you think of that episode yourself? Episode 3.
You know what? My thing is the episodes kind of bleed into each other, so I can't remember the delineation of each episode. I just know that I've been enjoying everything. There's been
my enjoyment factor's high.
A lot of world building. I think it's a good medium between WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's unexpectedly what you would expect. I don't know how else to say it. Like it's story and action. Even in conversations, there's action, good banter, and world building, world extending. You know, this whole other reality that we weren't familiar with, and now we're learning more and more about it, and wondering how that applies to everything that's gone on in the MCU.
And I think the world building's pretty tight. As far as Marvel's been, it's been really flimmy-flammy. You know, it's just whatever. But at first when I'm watching it, I'm like, this shit's not that good. But then I'm talking to you, and I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty solid. You know, for world building, I have to say. This episode, it was cool. They showed Loki singing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude. They really show his ties to Asgard and how he values it.
His people.
Yeah.
It show. Okay, so when you watch the episodes previous to the third one, in each iteration, like, so for the first episode, he finds out fucking Ragnarok happens, all this bad shit goes on. He's sad, and they play the song. And then the second episode, he finds out about Ragnarok and the death of his people. It seemed like that really bothered him. Bringing it to 3, like you said, he was singing. His ties to his people are deep because he's singing songs of mountain and shit in Norwegian, but I guess it's Asgardian. I don't know. And then he does a thing that Thor does. I'll have another. He breaks the glass. Yeah. I thought that was a cool callback. I don't know. That's a callback. There's no way they had like parallel thinking. You know, that's a callback to Thor.
Well, they even have another callback when I ended up looking at some like, you know, things you didn't notice. They mentioned the Revengers. So when he's looking at the file from Ragnarok, it's listing like who was involved, and one of them is the Revengers because that was what Thor kind of named.
Yes. Wow.
And I was just like, these motherfuckers.
Wow, they love that fucking Marvel.
And there's a lot in episode 5 too. A lot of callbacks in episode 5 as well. I was just like, God damn, these guys went deep. It's really rewarding to watch. And yeah, when Loki breaks that glass, again, you're looking at him still valuing his ties and his mannerisms and his culture. You know, him still practicing all of that stuff.
You know, when he broke the glass, okay, so when Thor does it, it's funny, right? Whatever. But then when he does it, it feels like a bunch of friends, because You got to think about it. Wait, just what? Let me pause real quick. My kid's trying to get in on the podcast.
We got to put him down anyways, right?
Not right now, per se.
Breaks the glass.
So, okay, hey, check it. So when he goes and does the thing when he breaks the glass, it made me think about it. Like, okay, so Thor, the three other people who die, or except for Lady Sif, but the group, they were a team. They did shit for maybe 1,000 years. Who knows? Because they've been alive for a while. And I mean, it sounds like when he breaks it, it's like a friend thing. I already in my head, I retconned it like they're just chilling. Thor does that, and they all thought it was funny. So they probably do that as a joke, all of them. It would be tight. It would be tight because Lady Sif is alive, if you brought her back for whatever, she does it too. So it's like their own little calling card kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think really it was just more to show that he's still there mentally. You know, that 1,000 years. I'm thinking like Omni-Man. You know, the 1,000 years that he spent as part of that unit, part of that team, part of that culture can't compare to the 3 or 4 months that he spent, you know, kind of rebelling against it.
It's so weird. It's so weird that he rebels, period. You know what I mean? Like when you think about the scope of his life, like he was like, man, dude, what a piece of shit.
He betrayed them before he found out he was an ice giant.
Exactly. That's such a, you know what? Okay, I went back in some 4K YouTube, which I fucking love. It's, man, dude. Okay, so Loki is talking to, and there's a man, dude. Like Thor is kind of underrated in certain parts because, okay, so Thor, okay, Loki finds out. He turns around. He's looking at his blue thing that turns things to ice. Weak ass fucking thing. He turns around. He looks at Odin, and he goes, and he's blue. He's blue skin, and he's talking to Odin, and then he knows what's up, and he's like pissed, and he's talking at him. And it's such a well-written scene, you know, and you can see a lot of pain on both sides. You could see that like Odin really, he did a thing. He thought he was doing good. He shouldn't have lied to him, so he feels that guilt. And like Loki's really feeling it, you know. He's fucking like, and you fucking are using it because this is how it looks, but that's not what it is. And then Loki, because he's a genius, you know, or a manipulator, I would say. Odin's trying to apologize. He's trying, and it's Anthony Hopkins. He plays it so well. He's trying to calm him down because it's his son, and he feels fucking guilty.
Right.
And it just looks so shitty. You know, this is a bad situation. You shouldn't have lied, and you got caught. And now you're trying to do this, and Loki keeps turning it around. And then he goes, well, and then you're going to do this and this and that, and this is why you're doing it. And then like Odin's like, twist my words, because he's not like at that level. He's not at Loki's level when it comes to talking. So he's like, you're twisting my words. And it fucking hurts him so bad that he falls into the All-Father's sleep. And I thought that was tight. I thought that was real tight.
Yeah, Thor 1 was really good. I was watching some review earlier, and it seemed to appreciate what Thor 1 had to do, which was basically introduce this cosmic side of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Kind of lift everything up off of that groundedness that we had seen from the first 3 movies. And that's a lot of heavy lifting, man. That's a lot of fucking heavy lifting. I thought it was going to be stupid, honestly.
Well, yeah, but like Anthony Hopkins ups everything. Loki is an actual like Tom Hiddleston is like top tier actor, but at the time he's real young. So, and then Chris Hemsworth, for all test purposes, he's got good comedic timing. So by that alone makes him a good actor, but not as good as Tom. And then fucking Odin. There's a part where Odin goes, so Loki is trying to like protect Thor in a way, but not really. He's like, and then Odin goes like that. He does that, and then like Loki, and Loki's like, he got scared. That's real. Like, Tom Hiddleston
Hopkins bringing his weight, you know, to the role too. That's why you bring in Anthony Hopkins. Anybody else? Well, there's probably other people out there, you know, but you bring in a nobody, you don't really get that. But I mean, even Chris Hemsworth had some great scenes in there when he's yelling at Anthony Hopkins. You get the sense of, because since we actually played the scene too, because we didn't know who Chris Hemsworth was, we didn't really think he had any weight. It was more like an unknown going at Anthony Hopkins, and we're just like, who the fuck are you? You know, and it plays well in the scene because again, Thor is his son. Who the fuck is he to be, coming at his dad this way? And we're not really in agreement with them at the time, anyways, right? Because Thor was fucking up. So yeah. I think that all played well in that scene.
How do we get here?
What else happened in episode 3, episode 4?
Well, okay, so he's on the train. I like the part where all hope is lost. So they do this whole one shot fighting their way to the Ark, right. And then the Ark gets blown away. Epic scene too. I like the fucking planet exploding. It was really good. It looks
really good when they show the planet coming down on it.
Now I looked into this. I couldn't find it. I didn't take a deep dive. Are they using the volume?
I don't know,
dude. It feels like it, dude. I fucking feel it. Like there's times where they're at like expansive areas, and I'm like, they did not shoot that shit on location.
Well, what location, right?
Yeah. Well, no, like in the desert. When he was in the desert, it seemed like that was a set, but it looked real. So, and then there's parts where shit's breaking apart from far away, and I'm like, that just looks so good, and it feels like volume. It just does. Why not utilize it?
Yeah, I mean, who knows if the volume was even available when they were shooting this? I know they're not shooting Mandalorian right now. But I don't know what other Marvel projects.
Who's to say they didn't make more? It has to cut costs quite a bit. I mean, all they have to do is just make a little area for yourself, and then the actors can react to shit that they see. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the volume is invaluable in comparison to like anything, I think it's like the highest evolution of making movies. I think everybody should. Yeah, dude. It's way better than green screen because they can react and it looks good too. It looks real.
It's great.
Yeah, I love the volume. Well, I guess that's it for that. And okay, in that episode, I thought Loki enchanted her. So there's a scene.
He doesn't know how to do that yet.
Well, fuck, who knows? I mean, he's had 1,000 years to figure shit out. How old is she? How old is she?
I think episode 5 kind of proves it, right? Because he takes forever to be able to enchant.
Yeah. How old is Sylvie then?
I don't know. I don't think we know. She can't. Well, because she could be older than Loki. She could be younger than Loki. She's been aging 12 hours at a time.
We're just assuming. There could be places where it's like 20 days. We don't know.
Yeah. We don't. You're right. We don't know.
Hey, all right. So she says something to the extent of she fell in love. She had a stint with a mailman.
Yeah.
Stan Lee was a mailman in Hulk. Just saying. All right. So yeah. So, yeah, like we don't know how old she is. I mean, she's a pretty good fighter. I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, where did she learn all of her fighting stuff?
Yeah,
did she stop somewhere to train with somebody to learn how to fight
before the apocalypse? So that's another good question right there. How old is she? All right, here we go. Episode 4. I really loved it. This is my favorite episode so far. Episode 4. 5 is good. All the episodes are pretty good, but 4 is my favorite. So in this one, we get to see Sylvie's origin story. She's a little kid playing with Valkyries and shit. They prune her for no fucking reason. We don't know. We don't know. They never explain it. So right, and then they go back into the Lokis sitting down, and I guess they have feelings for each other. Weird, and that creates a Nexus event. And that's how they're able to be found. So they get put into prisons and shit. And in this respect, this is cool. So does Loki go to hell first? Yeah, so Loki goes into a time prison. He knows
the time cell.
Yeah, and he knows that they're all variants now. So he knows the secret. Because you guys are variants. And then goes in the time cell. Now in this cell, this is weird. So how do they know like what's the worst time of their lives? Like, so Loki cuts this chick's hair, which is in Norse mythology, and she knees him in the balls. And she says the sentence like, I hope you're always alone. You're always gonna be alone. Like,
That's when he apologizes.
No, she says that.
No.
She says no, she says a sentence saying, this is why you're alone, you'll always be alone, blah, 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 blah. And she says it again and again. Then when he apologizes and goes through his all rigmarole, she doesn't hit him this time. And she still says, you're always going to be alone. She says that no matter what.
Yeah.
You're always going to be alone. And I'm like, fucking why? Like, so say everything plays out. He cuts her hair. You're always going to be alone. Why the fuck is that a thing she would say? And I don't know what timeline we are. Like, you could retcon it and say that this is why he betrayed them all.
See, and I'm trying, it might be worth going back and watching the first 2 Thors to see what their interactions were like. Because
in the second Thor movie, it's automatic they hate his guts.
Yeah. But that interaction obviously takes place before Loki's betrayal, right?
Of course, it has to, right?
So what was the dynamic like? Because he wasn't really alone; he was with everybody.
I feel a montage right here. So they've been together fighting battles, and lo and behold, they're constantly shitting on him. Because I mean, like he just flips the switch. So it could have been like this would be like he was just having some fun, and then they fucking do that to him, and he's like, "Fucking knew they hated my guts. Fuck these clowns. I'm gonna rule them." I mean, like that feels right. That feels right.
Yeah, she did that to him, and that might have been the trigger that he said, "You know what? Fuck these guys. I'm taking over."
But he's the bad guy in that respect. But for her to have said that, I would think that he would have dwelled on that, because why the fuck of all things would you say that? So I cut your hair and you tell me you should be alone all your life? I mean, like, what the fuck sense does that even make?
Well, the thing is, he's always playing tricks on people that he's supposed to be caring about.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And almost going overboard, like when he was disguising himself as a snake, and stabs Thor, right? You could have killed him, but luckily he didn't. Except for maybe the little kid killed him, right? The kid Loki.
Yeah.
It could just be a thing where she was saying that shit because she was at wit's end. It was just them two. And she was just like, dude, you're just always gonna be alone. You're never gonna have friends. You keep fucking around like this, right?
I know, that was the straw that broke her camel's back.
Right. And
then she says that.
What I liked about the scene was that then he was faced with, do I apologize to her every time to avoid getting kicked in the nuts, or would I rather get kicked in the nuts and have her say that the way that she said it?
Yes.
Because the first time the way she says it, it's like she says it,
yes,
not. Right, but this time he apologized to her. She helped him up, and she still told him, "You're fucked, dude. I can't stand you. You're always gonna be alone." Right?
Yeah, dude.
So at that point, is his penance now to apologize all the time, or what is he gonna choose? I'd rather get kicked in the nuts than be vulnerable to her again, and her still say that to me.
Yeah. Because it wouldn't be genuine if he's not sincere. So, like, if he's playing it for the 1,000th time, he's not going to be genuine anymore, and she would see through that. Yeah.
Yeah, he fucking kick his ass.
But that was
it was good though, because he basically learned that, that trust can be broken.
Well, he's the one who did it, though.
Yeah, but he's basically learning that you can do things to a point where finally people just say, you know what, fuck you, we're done, we're over you. You're out of the trust tree.
I guess. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure he dwelled on that shit.
Well, it's because working with kids, there's kids that like to push buttons, and they like to push the teacher's buttons. They like to push each other's buttons, and it gets to a point where everybody else says, you know what, we're tired of your bull. They'll start bullying them for being jerks, and they'll call them out on it. They'll be like, hey, stop wasting our time. We're trying to learn. He's trying to do something, you're ruining it for everybody. that kind of thing. So somebody can prod, poke, trying to get attention to the point where they, instead of getting the attention that they want, they end up pushing everybody away. And so, I don't know if this drives Loki's development, by light years, by putting him in that hell, right?
Yeah.
In that time cell, so that he could learn that thing faster. Because he
Well,
betrays
they put it.
so many times. He betrays so many times to where Mobius finally says, "Fuck it, we're done."
Yeah, but he puts him in that time cell to fucking punish him, not to anything else other than that. Yeah. But so he goes into time prison for cutting some hair. Okay, and then all right, so they're talking, right? And Mobius is trying to figure some shit out. He's like, cut the shit kind of bullshit. And he just throws out something just like as an offhand thing. And he goes, yeah, she's dead. Anyways, and then he keeps moving on. And Loki, in that instant, is crying like that, but he plays it off really well. And that's like a clue into him, because he just like, he's in a different mode. And they go back and forth, and then like, it's funny because Mobius looks up at him because he's like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, she's dead. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. And he looks up at him and he's like, wait, what the fuck is this? Why are you so sad? And then like, shit, you into yourself? A fucking narcissist, It's like, shit.
My hat's off to Tom Hiddleston, because he's playing somebody he's acting as somebody who's acting like they don't care, but still has to show that they cared.
Yes.
In a way that you would believe that he's trying to hide it.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
And Owen Wilson playing off of that.
Yeah, Owen Wilson, playing off of that and really being Owen Wilson. I mean,
yeah,
that's why they brought him in. Being Owen Wilson to kind of prod him, to try to get that out of him. Because Mobius is pretty savvy. I mean, it's like he knew, but he didn't want to say it. He wanted it to come out of him.
Yeah. It's a hard thing, right? You're a 1,000-year-old being, and you fall in love yourself. But whatever, you gave birth to a fucking horse, so whatever. So like, yeah, this is a crazy thing. And for the first time, Loki finds love. So he's like, oh shit, this is crazy, So he doesn't understand it, But it is cool though. In that moment, he was like real sad about it. This is why it's one of my favorite episodes, because there's so much going on with so little. Like he didn't have to show that much emotion, but he showed a tremendous amount of withdrawal, and he had that Loki face. And then he's like in plan mode. He tells them that they're TVA or variants and, whatever. And I guess like Sylvie goes into her own thing, and like, the other lady helps her out and tries to, I don't know, helps her out and shit. And they figure out that they're variants too, whatever. Right. And then like, it's cool too. Okay, so like when he throws him back in that prison, and Owen Wilson does his little like probing, which is not covert, by the way. He is obvious. Like, I don't believe in any of this shit. And then like, so they go into he goes back into the prison, and he starts like, it's cool. In that moment, Mobius is trying to get like a lot really quick. Like he's trying to get Loki's complete trust after he kind of threw him in his hell. And he's like, can I fucking trust you? Like that. And then like, and it's cool because Loki and Mobius have been developing this friendship, and it shows true in that moment, like this. I feel like Loki may not betray him, that kind of thing. And obviously, because at the very end of this episode, well, near the end, he gets pruned. They reset him, and Loki's fucking sadness is so, like, okay, so you see him, it's so cool, man. So homeboy knows he's gonna get pruned, and Owen Wilson's like, yeah, I'd rather be riding jet skis. I probably was at this, and they prune him and cut to,
they did prune him. Yeah.
They prune him.
I know he sacrificed himself, but I didn't remember if he did it to himself or if they prune him. Yeah,
they prune him, and they cut to Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston's fucking crying. Like Tom Hiddleston, right prior to getting Owen Wilson getting pruned, he is not crying. gets pruned. You look at his face immediately after that happens. It's the cry. And I thought, of course, naturally, this is a take and all that bullshit. But man, the emotion on him is like, oh my God, my best friend's just dead. Like, holy fuck, And I thought that was pretty good. Then you get to see the timekeepers, and they're very goofy. It's like Chuck E. Cheese or some shit like that.
Well, it's like he just learned the importance of trust in that time cell, that some people will not forgive him. He who knows how many times he apologized to Lady Sif.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't a thing. They had worked together for 1,000 years or whatever, and she didn't put up with this shit. Now here comes Mobius, who's willing to give him another chance. Where he just was denied that chance 1,000 times or whatever. And now he's got that chance, and this fucking dude loses it. Why? Because he trusted him. He put his trust in Loki and lost his life for it. And so, so now Loki's feeling that responsibility, I think.
Well, I think it's more, it's all boiled up, right? He lost his friend.
Yeah. What a friend is somebody that you trust, and now that he realized this is somebody that trusted me, that I could have trusted, who could have helped me, and ended up losing their life for it.
So they go into the timekeeper's cell, and it's like a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Robots, animatronic, I can't even say words. Representation of the timekeepers, and they're fucking goofy as fuck, especially the guy with the mustache, like the guy from Lorax. He's like, "Oh, you guys,
they were hard
I'm a timekeeper." Whatever. A fucking fight scene happens. They've turned plot twists. We all knew this was coming.
Yeah.
They're robots, whatever. Then Loki it's cool. So everything's all said and done. I don't know why when Sylvie punches fucking Lady, she just thinks that's it, right? Whatever. Okay, cool. All right. And then Loki's trying to explain something that he himself cannot come to terms with, because he figured out the nexus point, what it was. It was for the first time ever. I guess he fell in love.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to explain that to her. And she herself, who's, like, can't imagine something like this, she's in denial too. You can kind of tell. And so they're talking to each other, and then he dies. And then you're like, what the fuck? I was like, at that time, at that episode, at that moment, you had me. I was like, what happened? Like, I couldn't believe it. They fucking got rid of him. But then cut to, all right. So right before the ending credits of this, she goes to beat her up, and then she threatened to go. She going to reset her. She goes, go ahead and do it. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Okay, so you want to prune? Okay, for all time, you're trying to destroy the TVA, fucking pruning people left and right. That's what she was doing. Any chance she got, she killed them, pruned them, whatever. But here and now, this is the time I'm not going to prune you. You just killed my lover for the first time,
Well, this is somebody with knowledge now, right?
But she said, go ahead and prune me.
Now it's like, okay, she wants me to do that for a reason. I'm not going to do it.
So what's okay? All right. So
because again, because Sylvie also just learned that these three dudes are not the TVA.
Okay.
Somebody else.
All right.
And so now she's got the head, right? The highest ranking person available.
Okay.
And now she can get information. She's not useful to her dead or prune, so she really can't kill her right now. She would keep little guards and stuff, and she would even keep a guard, here or there to get information from them. But here it's like, well, okay, if I prune you, I'm not gonna gain anything, right? She had nothing to gain by pruning her.
So when the lady says, "Go ahead and prune me," do you think she's ready to be dead?
No, I think she knows where everybody ends up, and she had a temp pad on her, so she probably could have been able to come back.
So no. What I'm saying is this. Oh shit. When the lady goes, "Go ahead and prune me," do you think, like the main whatever her fucking name, the judge lady, the top lady, when she says, "Go ahead and prune me," I don't care. Like, is she ready to be pruned? You think she's ready?
No, she's not. Do I think she's ready to go to the end of time?
No. Okay, forget that. Like when at that moment, let's just pretend we don't know 5. When she says, "Prune me."
No, but she knows 5. She knows what happens when you get pruned.
Okay.
So
then why is she even trying to help her? Why doesn't she prune me?
She wasn't trying to help her. She remember she ends up taking her kind of like to stall for time until everybody else can get there. So she's not really trying to help her at all.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Okay.
I think it was written pretty well. It's kind of hard to poke holes in it.
All right, let's get into episode. So in the extra credit scene, Loki's alive. Plot twist.
I don't think they should have put that in there.
They shouldn't have.
If you're already watching up to episode 4, you don't need a stinger for episode 5. You don't.
Yeah, I'm already hooked.
You already want to know what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
I think if episode 5 would have started with Loki on the floor waking up, I would have been like, what? Because everybody would have been speculating for a week. Like, what?
Well, they shouldn't have released as many credits or trailers as they did. What they should have did is have false trailers of like Sylvie conquering shit. Like, so that when Loki dies, you think he's dead for a whole week. And and like people would be like, yeah, so Sylvie's gonna be the new Loki. And I mean, that would have been a sense that's out there, that would have been cool. But they didn't do that.
It was like when Hulk was in Ragnarok. If they'd kept that a secret, I think everybody would have lost their fucking mind.
I to this day wish. Like, same thing with Terminator Genesis. I wish they had kept certain things secret. They didn't. You know what I mean? Terminator 2, they should have kept it secret that Arnold's a bad guy still.
Because the movie plays ambiguous. Like, you don't know which one's a good guy.
Yes, the movie does play that way, yeah.
Until he says, "Get down."
Yeah.
And then John Connor starts dancing.
Raise the roof, Terminator, raise the roof. Terminator 5. So let's talk about 5. All right. So he wakes up. Wait just a second. Let me pause this shit real quick.
Good.
All right. Oh shit, I just fucked some shit up. So all right, so you got
Loki's waking up.
Loki's waking up, and there's different variants of Loki, and this is kind of cool. So you got a kid Loki, so he's young. So we don't know. So maybe he's from a timeline that's not like, so Loki's 1,000 years old. This kid could be literally just 12 or 13 or whatever.
Who knows how?
We don't know
what rate they age, right?
Yeah, and so you have an older Loki, and this is important later on. And you have, like, I guess, boastful Loki, who has like a fake hammer. And as it turns out, they explain that the reset is, and it's kind of, like, even when they explain it, I still have questions. So when they reset, I guess, an object or an area, and it goes there.
Yeah, it's almost like they're not pruning an entire reality, right?
But that doesn't make any sense, though. You know what I mean?
It's happening locally. So we talked about this before.
It makes sense that it's the universe.
When Loki goes to, or when Sylvie goes to a place that's gonna end up the same way as before, then there's no branch timeline, right? Even though she breathed in oxygen that wasn't supposed to get breathed in, and
yeah, I hear you.
Whatever, right? It doesn't create a nexus event. It maybe branches off and then comes back because everything ends up the way it's supposed to. So when they go and they prune somebody from a timeline, so long as everything ends up the way it was supposed to end up. So like if it was supposed to be X and Y and then Z shows up, so long as they take out Z, X and Y remerges with the sacred timeline. Right?
I guess.
So that's why they're not pruning entire realities, just whatever's not supposed to be in that reality.
That doesn't make sense, though, if you think about it. Right. Okay. So
I agree because
so Sylvie's there. So you take her out of that reality. So what happens? That reality just carries on. without a
makes no
Sylvie.
sense, right? That makes
Exactly.
sense. That reality keeps going on, but without that reality's Loki. You know, what really it should have been like the moment she was born. You know, they should have reset it and then put her back to being a
It
male.
should have obliterated the entirety of the
They
universe.
should have, yeah. The whole thing should be gone because
Yeah.
her whole time, her whole being basically was a Nexus event, right? Loki wasn't supposed to be born female or whatever and know about his lineage at an early age.
Exactly.
So yeah, I guess the whole pruning thing is up in the air.
It's still confusing.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
because if you prune an entire reality, you send that reality to the end of time, all the planets and all the beings and everything goes there.
Yeah. And then, like, if you took out an Earth, you know, it just makes sense to take out the entirety of the reality.
Yeah.
So if Earth does something, you know.
Yeah, this is the only thing I didn't really agree with, sending things to the end of time. I think it should have been, well, but then again, we don't know the powers of the person that is controlling everything. Or
Yeah, it looks like more like a technology thing as opposed to
right. So
magic.
it's not, maybe they don't have that ability to do that. Maybe they're just eliminating threats.
But that would then create a ton of realities without certain things.
So maybe,
and that's just stupid.
So maybe those realities still exist, but this person is eliminating threats to themselves. It might end up being a Loki.
Yeah, it could be. It could very well be. You know what? They're pushing hard in the trailers, Kang the Conqueror, and I think this might be another subvert because
of Eliath.
Yeah, well, no, Eliath is doing his thing, right? And then you got Kang the Conqueror, right? And there's like several instances where it's Kang. And then if you watch the promo for the next episode, literally Homeboy saying he's Kang the Conqueror. And I'm like, I think this is,
dude. I'm avoiding trailers.
I think it's a subvert though. I think because they keep pushing it. So when Loki
could be a Loki that calls himself Kang the Conqueror.
Could be. Old Man Loki comes out, right? Before this is even said, the theory was Old Man Loki, the guy like that we saw, he's actually the main bad guy. But we saw that he isn't. So, I mean, yeah, Kane, they're pushing hard. I mean, I think that it's not. So I think we're ready for another subvert of expectations. I don't know, but like resetting and pruning is so weird. That is a plot hole into itself.
Again, it might be explained in the next one that they're not really pruning realities, they're pruning threats.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
think that would be it. I think
it's so stupid that if I was a Loki, my threat is me.
That's not stupid because all the Lokis fought each other at the end of time.
Yeah, but like, okay, so Iron Man's
all of them betrayed each other.
Yeah, but like Iron Man's not a threat to Loki. Thanos isn't a threat to Loki. Fucking everybody's a threat to Loki. He'd be pruning left and right. There should be like 50 Thanoses, fucking 100 Iron Mans, a lot of Thors. Eliath, I thought was cool. The big cloud monster.
That was pretty cool. I thought that was cool. Something that can I talk about the thing that I saw?
Oh yeah, let's go there. So we're in episode 5.
The older Loki, he talks about how he avoided getting choked by Thanos.
I was gonna bring this up as well.
By creating a clone of himself.
A projection. A perfect projection.
A perfect projection.
That even fooled the Mad Titan.
I'm wondering if that's what Loki's going to end up doing when he goes back into the timeline.
What do you mean?
So my theory was that originally this Loki would like be working for the TVA, right? I'm thinking, well, by the end he'll probably end up working for the TVA and just exist outside of time helping Mobius and the TVA. All right. Now I'm thinking he's going to go back into the timeline and maybe tell himself or convince himself or just remember, like Marty giving a letter to Doc Brown. Hey man, wear a bulletproof vest or something, you're going to get shot.
Okay.
Now he's going to be like, hey man, don't fucking go for the sacrifice play. Make a projection of it. You can do this, a perfect projection of yourself so you can survive.
So, okay, when he talked about doing that, I thought to myself this. I was like, well, I mean, okay, so this Loki's from So the only difference here is that this Loki, other than looking the way he does the thing with Thanos, and then goes and goes onto another planet, gets old and says, "Fuck it, I want to be with people," and then goes out. Who's to say that Loki didn't do that?
Right.
So, like, my thought was, our Loki from our timeline, the movies we watch, he's alive, because why not? Like, fucking,
yeah, he could already be there. Loki could go and tell Thor, "Hey, he's hanging out on this planet over here."
Exactly. That's what I thought.
And if they take down the TVA, there's nobody to prune anybody anymore.
So when he misses his brother, he could then, they can pick another old guy. Oh, that'd be great. You're gonna pick another old guy who goes and talks to his brother. So Tom Hiddleston could get out, and then some other guy comes in.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. But hey, you know what? That's cool. So that it's a cool thing that you got young. So you got a young Loki, and he killed Thor. So that's who he is. So what does that even mean? He's the leader because he killed Thor.
Yeah.
They don't explain that shit. And he has some magical sword that's made of fire, which is kind of weird. Okay, so this sword is an enchanted sword made of fire. He gives it to Loki.
Loki Prime.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Gives it to Loki, and now this is some shit. But in the same episode, he talks, old man Loki goes, what's his name? The Alioth. Okay. He can't be destroyed with swords. You got to use sorcery. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? What's happening here? So Kid Loki's like, use this sword. I'm like, oh, and it's like, dun dun dun. He got the sword. And then in the same breath, he's like, yes, throw the sword away. It's like, what the fuck did you even do that for?
Well, I mean, he said you're going to need this. And he ended up needing it. I mean, he needed it to be able to distract Alioth.
It didn't work.
But, no, it didn't. But they bought them time, I guess. I don't know. It was cool. It's from the comics. I looked up what the sword is. It's from the comics.
Yes.
It's a thing. But it's not. It's actually not even a strong thing, but it's a thing.
All right, so okay, the chick prunes herself, right? Loki, Sylvie, whatever, she prunes herself. I went back on it, so she is Loki. She just changed her own name.
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, I had several theories of an ego trip, but it's not. She just changes her name, so it's not an ego trip. Throws that out of the water,
Right.
Of her being a superior Loki, whatever. So there's a cute little scene between Loki and Sylvie. They're sitting on a hill, and then Loki's like, he conjures a blanket, right? And he goes, it's cold, yeah. And then she goes, yeah, it is. And then he creates more of a blanket for her, and then they have like a moment. Now, Loki can't get cold because of what he is.
Right.
She can't get cold. She can't get cold either.
Well,
for what she is.
But they're not in their ice form though.
No. But still, he can hold that fucking thing and not look like he doesn't have to take a form to fucking use it. He just shows off its form. No, what I'm saying is this. It's kind of cute because in his
or maybe they're just using it as like they're pretending to be cold to
It's cute because it's like they forgot. So he's like, oh, hey, here's a blanket. And then her being the chick, she's like, yeah, I'm so cold too. And so they're both like lying to each other. And I think that's what that moment is. I think because they're both fucking cold people.
I could dismiss them falling for each other because they're from different realities. But since you branch it back to the beginning, they have the same mom and dad. So they're more like brother and sister.
It's true.
Then when I started thinking of it like that, I was like, yeah, this gets weird.
It's true because they do have the same lineage, right? Except one became an X versus a Y.
Yeah, well, one was the X, one was the Y. They're twins.
Think about that.
When you think about it like that, it gets weird.
I know. They're not thinking that hard.
That's why the whole time I was like, they're different. They're from different realities,
I really like those two together. And then when you said it that way, I'm like, That's a sound logic. When you say it that way, it's undisputable. Unless they had different moms, or even then.
But then the nexus is further back. Then the parent should have been pruned at that.
So the nexus is really just an incest thing. So whenever you have incest, the fucking nexus point pops.
So you get it's supposed to happen in the timeline. Whoever's in charge is like, I don't like that.
It's fucking you're right, dude. I was so into this relationship until you said that. Now I'm like, now I don't even think they can make that work, but they are. They're gonna go full bore. You already know. They're gonna kiss.
Their kids are gonna come out with like missing eyes.
Wow, they're fucking alien people that have planet destroying durability. You know what I mean?
DNA is still DNA.
Do they have DNA? We don't fucking know.
Oh,
they're fucking 1,000-year-old beings. We don't even know how old she is. You know what I mean?
We don't really know how they're created either.
We don't. We fucking do. Well, he's different from them, though. You've got the ice people. What the fuck? They're like 18 feet tall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe they just like make a snowman and it becomes a baby.
Yeah, dude.
In which case we can kind of forgive the fact that they're twins.
They are literally twins. Fraternal twins. They are literally twins. Oh, man, that's right. I heard theories that it's probably Hela taught her stuff. I'm like, whatever, man. You guys are grasping, because there's nothing there.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. We don't. Anyways.
But you know what? No, because Hela, they have no memory of Hela. Hela was before them. Like Hela was there, then she was sent to Hela.
We fucking don't know the reality. We just don't. Who's to say Odin saves?
They didn't know her and had never heard of her and don't remember her.
No, that's Odin, Loki, and them. But we're talking about Sylvia.
Oh, maybe in that reality, Sylvie, Hela stuck around a little bit longer.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah. All right. Sylvie, blue. Loki causes. Hey, it was the alligator Loki.
I like that thing.
Eats up Loki for president's hand, and then like he's like and then like the scream lasts way longer than you would think because it's like and then like there's another scene of them fighting and it's
still screaming.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
It was shot kind of weird, but I was down with it. I was cool with it. I thought it was funny.
I have to say, of all the episodes, this one was like whatever. In comparison to the fourth one, it set up a fucking high point. I think 4 is its high point, and then right here is 5. Like it goes like that, and then 6 will be kind of like that. I think. I don't think 6 will be I don't think that will be a house burner right there.
Yeah, 4 had a lot of threw everything on its head.
Oh shit, dude! It was the climax, dude. It was literally the orgasm of the fucking thing. Yeah, and then everything else is kind of cuddly.
The whole reality they had built up, all the rules and everything, it was a lie. And if you look at it as runtime, you just watched 2 movies, and at the very end found out, that Hydra's been running fucking Shield the whole time. And so I think it landed with that. Another reason why I'm glad it's a weekly episodic thing, not like Netflix releasing everything all at once, because it gives you some time to cook and simmer in that and
maybe watch it again if you wanted to.
Yeah,
and which I have. I mean, like when we go to review this whole thing, it's gonna be higher. I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm Babe Ruth right now calling it, because I mean I've been rewatching it quite a bit.
I would have to agree. I think this is doing a lot of what Thor 1 had to do, which is kind of throw the Marvel universe into this new space. WandaVision was pretty limited to Wanda.
Yeah.
And her ability in magic and the possibilities that implies. Creating a couple new characters and stuff like that. But Falcon and Winter Soldier, a pretty small by comparison story.
It played it too safe. It's just, and that's so stupid to say.
Like how preachy it got at the end.
Yeah,
I like that
pretty
they had the Captain America, the original Captain America, right? Whatever, but that was cool. But it got way too preachy at the end. I think it could have told what it wanted to tell without having to be so on the nose about it in its dialogue and exposition.
Yeah. All right. All right. So yeah, like I've watched a lot of these episodes over and over again. Like this clips though. And I have to say that like I didn't do that with the other ones. This world builds in a weird way.
Right.
I mean, as far as I can tell right now, there's no big overarching themes you can just draw into the main universe. Like there's no main villain yet. Like you had a Thanos, right? So
Right.
unless they're propping Kang the Conqueror as the main bad guy who's behind the scenes, you know, it's kind of cool because like, so it's almost like a thing in which like we're the people who didn't know who Thanos was. So when you're watching the Avengers and all that shit, we don't know who like we know that Thanos is a thing, but people who are watching it for the first time, watching these movies, they don't know who the fuck that is. So here we are again, right? And you're making these shows, and we don't know who the main bad guy will be.
Yeah.
You don't feel it.
I would hope they start building towards whatever that's gonna be.
I think they did with this. Maybe this is it. Maybe Kang the Conqueror is the thing, which kind of feels weak, though. You know?
Yeah, I don't know too much about him.
No, yeah, he doesn't have the same gravitas as say like a Thanos. Like Thanos is literally like if you read comics, you got a Thanos.
Was one of those things that you go back and read every once in a while because it was so cool.
So that's a legit move. If they so here's the thing. They bought up Fox, right? So they own X-Men and all the other properties. So they have to start transitioning those properties in. So I think the big push would be if it was Doctor Doom. I think that if you position Doctor Doom as the main bad guy at the end of Loki 6 and all these feints and everything happening, you would fucking blow everyone's mind because like it opens an entire universe right there. The buzz would be fucking cosmic. Kang the Conqueror is so stupid. We
thought they were gonna do well. I thought they were doing that in WandaVision, right? I think they kind of threw that curveball at us when they had Fox
the Speedster. So, yes. Yeah. Well, maybe they're baby stepping that shit in.
Yeah, we don't know if Ralph really is the Quicksilver from Fox, but just he had been hiding as Ralph.
When you in a world where you have alligator Loki,
yeah.
I mean, who's to say that the X-Men didn't happen?
Yeah.
So
but it happened and it gotten pruned.
Yeah. So like, other than Thanos, the only person who has enough clout, enough like gravitas to themselves is Doctor Doom. And Doctor Doom isn't like powerful in the same way Thanos is, right? He's just like that guy who just gets everything done and wins. Like he wins a lot. Like Thanos kind of wins and then loses. In fact, that's one of his failing devices. Is losing. Kind of like what they reappropriated for Loki. He always loses. But Thanos' thing is losing. Like that's literally what Adam Warlock beats him on. He goes, hey, look, you want to lose. That's why you lose. That's why I'll always win. So that aside, Dr. Doom isn't, I want to lose. I always lose. Dr. Doom wins. No, it just so happens that we beat him every once in a while. Like he wins like all the time.
My problem is, well, they always try to tie, and I don't know if this is a movies thing. They always try to tie Doctor Doom's origin to the Fantastic Four. Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor Doom was a thing before the Fantastic Four.
And he's like their villain. He is like,
I'm not saying in comic books. I'm not saying, but like in continuity, he had already been Victor Von Doom from Latveria trying to run his country.
He is his own thing, but I mean, it's kind of like the Joker. You can't have a Batman without the Joker. You can't have the.
I get that. But would it be okay if we had Doctor Doom existing in the Marvel universe before we see the Fantastic Four?
I would love that tremendously because Doctor Doom is like he's Thanos, man. They're like dude, this fucking guy in every universe is terrible. Like he's always conquering shit. It literally in the Ultimate Universe, it got to a point where like Ben Grimm, like the Thing, he has a conversation with him. He says, "Look, in every reality, you're a bad guy and you win. It's not this one." And then he crushes his fucking head because that's what happens. That's what he does. And then when they do Convergence, guess what? Dr. Doom is top. He's always the guy. Yeah, he's always the guy who wins. Like in Secret Wars, guess who's Dr. Doom's in Secret Wars, and he doesn't even seem like he's the main villain. And then he does. He takes over Galactus, creates some kind of a fucking mirror thing, takes over the Beyonder, and he's like a god. And like that's it. And they have to defeat him. And that's Dr. Doom in a nutshell. He like always wins. So I mean, he's a really good bad guy. Thanos gets a lot of cred because they did the Infinity Gauntlet and all that bullshit. Yeah. But like if you want a master strategist, a fucking guy, literally there's a comic where like Dr. Doom's so fucking badass in Convergence. There's another guy who's equally hardcore, and he's Dr. Doom's right hand man. Guess who it is?
Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom. That's how badass he is. He's like so secretive. He's in everything. So like, I mean, like if you want main bad guy, it's Dr. Doom. But I don't know. I'm cynical. I don't think they have the writing chops for that. I've said this before in the episode 1. I fucking hope it's Dr. Doom.
Yeah, Dr. Doom, I feel like you're right. He should be an overarching villain. He should be a phase villain.
He's the Thanos. He's the next Thanos.
Yeah, because the other movies played him small. You never really got a sense of how awesome.
I know. Here you got this like it's like imagine Thanos and Thor 1.
He was a tech mobile. The fuck on that, you know?
Yeah.
I always liked the other one where he had the resources of a country.
Yeah.
At his disposal.
No, he's better than that, dude. He's better than
that.
You put him on a planet. Yeah. He just takes over. Like that's what he does. That's in every reality. That's what he does. Like he'll connect to another reality just to take it over. That's all he ever does.
His long game is never to fight one-on-one, which is what they always put him in the movies. He's always been, okay, we're gonna fight now. Where again, he should be a guy pulling the strings.
He is, and he's not like a guy who's out there to fight you. In which in every movie that he's in, he's fighting. That's not Dr. Doom.
Yeah, that's not Dr. Doom. Although he is powerful, but that's not his thing. And it's like again, I think you mentioned the Joker. You know, the cool thing about the Dark Knight was the Joker says, "Did you think I was going to risk the soul of Gotham, the battle for the soul of Gotham, in a fist fight with you?" It's like that's not what I'm about. I'm not a brute strength fighter guy.
Yeah,
you know, I'm somebody that can set up these situations to really.
Yes, yeah, and like that's what makes him such a good villain. Is like he can fight whatever, but that's not like ever in any comic. That's what he does. He just like manipulates things to the point where he's on top. And that's the basic part of the comic is you trying to fucking defeat the guy who already won. And that's every comic.
I think that's even scarier, you know, and I think that as an audience member, you get a greater feel for the stakes when all of your main characters are really fighters, right? Their powers are about fighting and this and that. Now it's somebody that you can't defeat with brute strength. You need to outwit it.
Yeah, and like that's in every situation. That's what it was. You had to outwit him in some weird way. In fact, I think it's like the only thing that beats Dr. Doom is Dr. Doom at the very end of Convergence.
I think it was a Critical Drinker. He reviewed like a quick shot about Independence Day, And he said that
I love the fact that we watch the same YouTube videos and we don't even talk about it. I've never talked about Critical Drinker with you or on the podcast, but we both watch it. Yeah. You, me, Fimelto.
I really like his takes.
Oh yeah.
But his take on Independence Day was they build up these stakes because they're fighting them, and they're always losing the entire time. You know, it's just this ominous threat, and people are dying, and you're losing characters, and cities are going down. It was done in a way that you've never seen it before. To where we're at the end, where you finally get like a glimpse of hope, you're excited. You're like, the little small victories become really big. But even though they get the victory of, okay, they got the shields down, they're still getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, right? even then, it looks like it's a sacrifice play.
Yeah, it's just like we got what we wanted, the plan, everything worked the way it's supposed to work, and we're still fucked, you know. And I think Phil Mento talks about counters, right? Emotional counters, where you're like excited, and then all of a sudden there's dread. And I don't know if he's broken down Independence Day, but there's a scene where the missile gets through, and everybody's like, "Yeah, the missile got through." And then a fucking shit ton of fighters comes out of the sky off frame. You know, you see the explosion, you're all excited with everybody, and then the fighters come down, and all of a sudden you're like, fuck, they still gotta fight these guys now. You know? So
and it's like victory is hard fought, you know.
So somebody like Doom or the Joker kind of puts you in a situation where now it's different, right? Brute strength, which is what everybody's good at, is not gonna be the thing that wins the day.
Yeah, each character. Yeah, the entirety of the Marvel universe is about fighting. Like, never once is there a thing in which, well, I mean, like,
Doctor Strange.
Yes, yeah.
Doctor Strange. The fight with Thanos.
Yeah, I have to say,
him, but it was still a fight up until that point.
But like when he fought Dormammu or whatever, he's fighting an entire dimension.
Yeah,
and he beats him with his intelligence. You know, not his like power. And it's kind of cool if you think about it, because like they're setting this up to be Doctor Strange's gig, more magical. And if you think about it, Dr. Doom is a magic guy. That is his thing. He believes in science and magic. Magic's his thing, and he knows a lot about magic. So I mean, it's crazy to even say that because he's such a scientist. But like, if you read a lot of Dr. Doom, whenever Dr. Doom's in a comic, a lot of the shit that he does, there's magic associated with him through and through. And it's not like he does like magic as a fake. It's science to him, and he learns everything. So he's like a Doctor Strange equivalent, you know. So like that, it seems like a lot of this next phase is magic. You know what I mean? Like, you got your stuff, but it's more magic oriented.
Yeah, I mean,
we're talking up a good game for Dr. Doom, and I really want it now more than ever. Before I had thought it, but I never really thought about it, you know, until I started talking about it. I was like, Jesus Christ, they keep putting what is it? Kang the Conqueror, in your face, the High Evolutionary in your face. These are fucking like the B team. Like, when you're talking like bad guys, you've got Thanos, Galactus, fucking Dr. motherfucking Doom. And that's about it, really. Everyone else is kind of whatever. Maybe a nihilist, if anything. But even then, he's like whatever. It's always been Dr. Doom has always been at the top next to Thanos. Like, you had your Thanos, Dr. Doom, Kang, who gives a fuck?
Well, I'm wondering what would bring in the Eternals. Because supposedly
the fuck would bring in the Eternals? How many Eternals comic books do you own?
I know.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. They're building it up like that's going to be the next thing.
I think I read somewhere.
It's got to be a threat that would draw them in too.
I mean, look, my catch-all is Dr. Doom. Blah. Of course, you're talking about a guy who converges all the universes. You're talking about a guy who like takes over a god, like not even a god, a thing that doesn't even exist in our reality. He just takes it over just because he just kind of figures it out, you know. Whatever on that. I'm just saying, like, the Eternals, it's like what brings them into the fight as, like, I don't know, maybe because like Iron Man's gone. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is, what's a villain or a force or whatever that would draw them into the story?
I know, if not Thanos, who would, right?
Right.
But I mean, like, But that's just bad writing onto itself if you think about it, because like there is nothing, right? Because like, okay, so Doctor Strange takes on Ramu, right? And he could have fucking ended reality, but Doctor Strange took him out. Lucky. But like knowing the Eternals, I mean, like maybe they should have fucking intervened there. Thanos comes and dicks out half the universe. What they fucking thought that wasn't necessary. I mean, fuck, whatever. They must have agreed with them. So like, it's like, what? I mean, it's gonna be one of those situations where, you know how you watch Justice League or any Justice League movie because it's all the same universe. What the fuck is Superman doing at this time?
Yeah, you froze.
Like, for instance, when you see Aquaman, he's fighting and shit like that. Superman's still around, or even before then. Like, hey, there's a fucking universe down there. Like, I mean, he could see everything. You know what I mean? It's not like Superman can't see it. So what's the Man of Steel doing while all this shit's going on?
I don't know. You froze for like 10 seconds.
Oh, I kept on going. I didn't even notice you freezing.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, so well, I think you're talking about like if the Eternals were chilling the whole time, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be bad writing because like when you have Justice League, what the fuck was happening? It's the Superman problem. What's Superman doing?
So I think what I've read is that they don't know they're Eternals.
Because they keep dying.
Yeah, that they're living their lives kind of as regular people, not knowing that they're Eternals, and then something is gonna awaken them that wasn't the end of half the universe. I don't know.
Yeah, and well, that had to have been it. I mean, that makes sense, right? Though, if Thanos snaps his fingers, and there you go, they come back. They're like, what the fuck?
Oh, like they were gone?
Yeah, no, they were around doing their thing, being human, and all of a sudden Thanos snaps his finger, and they're like, "Oh shit, we're Eternals." And then like that was the thing that brought them back.
Them back. Well, it'd be the second snap, right?
Yeah, it'd be the second snap.
I really don't want them to bounce around in time anymore. I don't like it when they do stories in the past.
Because then it becomes a thing. Like I'm saying, it's the Superman paradox. Like, if this shit's happening, what's Superman doing?
Yeah, there's that problem. There's the continuity problems that they start building into their own shit. I mean, they got away with it in Captain America, but it was because they knew they were going to do that.
Yeah,
they knew they were.
It was so new.
Yeah, that was the 5th movie in the universe, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but like Captain Marvel going back and doing that. Okay. What else?
It's stupid that like Captain Marvel, don't even get me started on that, because like you got your home planet, shit's happening. You're like, you know what? Fuck it, these people don't have help. Like, I mean, like, so you got America, right? America, and I'm like, I can help America, but Africa needs help. I mean, like, that sounds stupid, you know? Like, you would help your homeland first, and then everyone else. But whatever.
Well, especially since she can travel stupidly fast.
I know, right? Well, not just that. They have the technology in their area with, you know, all the Creed and everything to warp time and space. Like, I mean, to go through portals. So speed plus that thing, her speed plus that, she should be at Earth in an instant.
Yeah. You know? Yeah.
Because she could travel faster than the fucking whatever the fuck, man. Whatever. That's what. Yeah. Cat Marvel paradox is there because it's like Superman. I'm like, what the fuck?
She could have been able to show up, help, and then go back to whatever the fuck she was doing. They wouldn't have missed her for 30 minutes.
Yeah. But like, why didn't she help with Thanos? When Thanos goes and destroys
New York City, when Loki invaded the first time.
Yeah. Well, maybe she didn't know. Yeah, the fuck, right?
He had the pager.
Like, what the fuck? Maybe he set the pager out, right? The page out. And by the time she got there, shit was already done.
Yeah, that maybe.
No, but then like, okay, so she's supposed to be like a cop, right? So wouldn't she like investigate? Like, whoa, let's find out the Chitauri. I'll go find out. and then kill everybody involved with this. I mean, she doesn't know about Thanos. Like, so Thanos is going around killing planets and shit. You know what? We went into another tangent.
Well,
why did?
Yeah.
Shit, it's the 80s, right? So you're saying, okay, so Gamora
Nick Fury should have been like, like, hey, that thing that gave you your powers? Guess what? It's awake now and it's doing crazy shit. Maybe you should come over here. Maybe you got some insight, since your powers are based on this fucking thing.
So she makes a big deal about the reason I couldn't save Earth is because I'll save other planets, right? Okay, fine. So in the 80s, when she has all this power, by the way, and she finds out, I have this power. So Gamora's planet, right? So she's like in the 80s. This is going on in the 80s. Gamora's planet gets half. And like, it seems to be that this isn't his first fucking planet. He's been doing this for a while. Maybe you should fly your fucking ass over there and do something. Or, I don't know, the Kree.
All she had to do is fly through their ships.
Exactly. Because she did that with, okay, so when they're fighting, when they in Endgame, they're fighting with that one ship. What does she do? She just goes right through the ship. Yeah, like nothing, like fucking nothing. So the Kree, okay, so say, all right, here's your argument. The Kree can't, no, she can't be everywhere at once, but the Kree are. The Kree's finding out shit. Things are happening. A Ravager would have said something. Somebody would have said something. And like, you got all this power to fly through ships and shit. Fucking shit, man. Ronan the Accuser is destroying planets. Where is she? It's the Superman paradox. Really, what they should have done in the 80s, this is what they should have done. She was in some time vortex. She couldn't get out. Yeah. Like, they shouldn't create a character like that. It's just stupid writing. I want to be woke. I want to be a powerful character. It's just dumb. Because every time something happens, where the fuck is she? And it's like, oh, she doesn't know everything. I'm like, so the Kree, who have established a civilization across the galaxy, they don't know anything? They don't know anything. They know about some planets getting destroyed by Ronan the Accuser, but they're not going to do anything. But she could. She could do something. And she did. And she did do something. When they came to Earth, she fucked up like 3 of their ships. Yeah. Whatever. So there you go. So whatever on that. I mean, what the fuck are they even going to do with Captain Marvel 2? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't. Is Brie Larson still working for the MCU?
Yeah, dude. She makes YouTube videos all the time. She needs attention.
But is she still part of the MCU? I don't know why.
Ms. Marvel 2 is coming out.
Well, the Marvels, right?
Yeah, Captain Marvel 2 is coming out. That's coming out. They're not getting rid of that property. What they should do, and this would be bold, is have an entire adventure with her in it, kill her. I mean, like, it's fucking dumb, dude. To have a character like that out there, it's like, how is she not doing things? Why isn't she doing anything? She's just too powerful. Like, it makes sense to have a powerful character that can't travel fast.
Yeah.
That solves everything.
She could travel faster than that ship without the ship.
Exactly.
Endgame implies that she carried that ship back to Earth.
Exactly.
Tony Stark was dying when she found him, and she still got him back fast enough to prevent him from finishing dying.
Say Tony Stark on the best day of his life dying, he can last 3 days. Let's just say 3 days. She still took because they went so far out, it took 3 days. Let's just say 3 days. It took her 3 days from the randomest part of the fucking galaxy.
Light years away.
Yeah, fucking far. Dude, they were far. They said that. They said that in Endgame. We're so far away from the nearest civilization, blah, 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 blah. And then they get to Earth like in 3 days. I'm just saying 3 days because that's ridiculous. He was about to die. Like literally about to die. I'm giving him 3 days. We both know it was a matter of seconds because he was about to die.
Yeah, it was a couple minutes.
He died. He was like this.
He was letting go. Well, he was letting go.
And then she puts the blanket on him, and there she is. And then she's back on Earth. So it had to be within like an hour or two.
Yeah.
But I say 3 days, regardless
of her pushing that ship there.
Exactly. So
Now,
she
now
has
the only way out is maybe she was accompanied by a ship, by like a tow ship or something like that, or something that could have
regardless.
pulled the ship through space time, or not through times, but through whatever the hyper jumps that they do or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
But how did she know that he was there?
but she doesn't know about Thanos tearing up half of the fucking tearing
Yeah,
through the universe.
that's weird too. But no. So when Tony Stark is like floating around, right? How does she know he's right there? I assume he puts a distress signal. I guess, right? I mean, she just
Yeah, but at that point, I mean, half the universe is sending out a distress signal, right? I think everybody's
yeah,
kind of freaking out at what just happened.
yeah. They
You
shouldn't have made
know,
a character who can move that fast. Like you could give her the powers, give her all those powers, right? But they shouldn't have made it so she can fly across the universe like that. Because like then it gets to be like, what the fuck were you doing when Thanos was killing people the old-fashioned way?
yeah, it would have been better if they had set the ship to like some kind of sub light or sub like light speed or something where like it comes out of its light speed near Earth, but they're all fucked up and just in the ship and not able
And
to
then she
do.
brings it to Earth.
Yeah. It's or somebody finds it or something, or it just barely gets through reentry, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, there's something fucking coming through the atmosphere. We don't know what the fuck it is." And
But
then they
like,
bring
okay,
it
so
back.
In Captain Marvel 1, though, in that movie where she's moving the scrolls. I mean they're saying that she moves that fast. They don't establish her speed, so that's kind of wonky. But you're right though. In Endgame, they fuck it up because she's there and then she gets it there. That's how. So like with Thanos in the 80s, I'm just giving it conservative. Maybe Gamora ages 1 year and she's an adult. You know what I mean? But that's my timeline though. So he's killing half a planet, right? With Gamora, right? She's like a little girl. I would assume the 80s, right? Because that's where, like Quill was taken. He was taken in the 80s. That's why he has a lot of music in the 70s and 80s. So because he watches David Knight Rider, then that's
Right.
the 80s, right? That's so he's in the 80s. So Gamora, either they're the same age. I mean, regardless.
Well, even in I think 2011 or 2012 is when the first Galaxy takes place.
Yes.
Gamora's out there, and
Yes.
they're annihilating people at that time. So
Exactly.
at least from there to when she was a child, they've been doing this shit.
Well, maybe they have like maybe Captain Marvel 2. You know what? If I was the writers of Captain Marvel 2, I would have to come up with the MacGuffin on why she was not doing anything for that entire time. It's like okay, so because she's really fast. So and she gets so I hear people are dying and I have the power to stop it, right? Because of that speed. So it's like here I have ultimate power, right? And right now I hear something that's happening right here. I go like this, I solve it. So they have to come up,
dude. Then they got to do a movie to explain why this big plot hole exists in another movie, and that just feels pointless.
It does feel pointless, but they created that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm pretty confident no one really gives a shit. Because honestly, I didn't give a fuck until we started talking about it. And I was like, what the fuck has she been doing this entire time? Because you asked about the Eternals, and I was just like, hey, what the fuck are they doing this whole time? We came up with the loophole. They're dead. They don't know.
Well, and that's why I'm hoping that the stories that they come out with are at the end of the timeline moving forward and aren't relying too much on the past. And if they are, that they're doing their fucking homework and asking all the kinds of questions that the fans would ask, about like, well, what about this or what about that, Yeah, I mean, because the Russo brothers did a really good job. Why didn't Tony find all of secrets, all of Shield, all of the Hydra secrets in when he fucking hit the helicarrier, right? And he was like, in 30 minutes I'll have all of Shield's dirty secrets and shit. Well, because they kept all their shit off of the server.
Okay.
They're in that bunker in Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that thing is cut off. It's like the
Yes.
closed circuit television line, that
You know what's funny about that is that wasn't a question in my mind
No.
until you
people brought it up all the time, and I'm like, in Winter Soldier, they go to this bunker, and the bunker's disconnected from everything. All of that knowledge is there. You know, when it leaves there, it leaves as a shield thing. You know, but everybody kind of knows with the wink and a nod. You know, Hail Hydra, right? But
Yeah, that
something
works.
like that, the Russo brothers they're really careful. I'm sure they fucked up here and there, but god damn it, there's a lot of continuity there, right? But they're really careful to avoid those types of holes in their stories.
They're really good at writing, and I think it's because they play off of each other because they're brothers, so they don't have any fear of saying, hey, I think that's stupid. So when you have things like Captain Marvel, it's like there's a lot of fear going on writing that, so they don't really, there's no like, hey, what about this, what about that, and they should have that person there when you're writing nerd continuity
too, you know.
huh?
And you know, you and I, when we dig into things, we learn from each other, we learn each other's perspectives.
Exactly.
We were thinking one way, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, you're right, you know. And yeah, I'm hoping, you know, well, I'm not hoping, I'm pretty sure this is what it is, that they're bouncing the ideas off of each other and throwing things out and keeping each other in check. Sorry, what were you saying?
That's probably what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that Captain Marvel, man, it really infuriates me now that I think about it. Because we went from Eternals to Captain Marvel, and then I'm like, fuck, yeah, you're right, dude. There's a lot of Captain Marvel. It's the Superman paradox. Like, what the fuck? What were you doing while this was happening? You know what I mean? Like, talking about the fate of the world. What were you doing?
And with Loki, you can ask, well, what was the TVA doing when you know when people are using the time stone? That's supposed to happen.
Exactly. They solved that in one stroke.
The time stone is part of that universe, and it's
exactly. Even when Loki uses logic, he goes, "Well, shit, I wouldn't have done this if they hadn't traveled back in time." But then they said, "Well, no,
they're supposed to travel in time. What the Avengers did, they're supposed to do."
I was like, "Damn!"
Back and forth.
Even though it's a cop out, hey, you wrote for it, you know, and that's the way it is. And I think that's what you need to do. And that's why whoever the writers are for Loki, they're really, you know what though? Episode 5 was written by a Rick and Morty writer.
Really?
Yeah. And you remember earlier, I think episode 2, you were saying, are they influenced by Rick and Morty?
Oh yeah.
Dude, you have a Rick and Morty writer?
Well, it's funny because if they're bringing that mentality there too, there was a 10 things that you might have missed video that I decided to watch.
Yeah.
There's a Thanos helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't see it either.
Had in the comic books, he had a helicopter, yellow
helicopter. In the 60s, yeah.
And they put it in the show.
They did that. Which brought that into continuity.
Yeah, well, multiverse continuity or
exactly, but it brings it in
cool.
There.
That's still cool.
It is. You know what's cool though is like this. Okay, if you're bringing talent from Rick and Morty, then that means you watch the show and
you acknowledge the value there.
Yeah, and the writers of Rick and Morty aren't like, they're not like writers. They're like the nerds we want them to be. They watch all of pop culture and they see everything. So when they write these fucking stories, they're using pop culture and turning it on its end. So they've seen a thing in all different ways. And the writing in Rick and Morty are so strong and powerful that they create these little narratives that like encompass these high concept sci-fi things. So like at one view, you're like, oh, it's funny. Yeah, it's a funny thing. But in another view, you're like, oh, that shit's solid. I can see why there's a lot of plot holes and a lot of things. So then you, bring it back to episode 5, and you got the writer from Rick and Morty, not like the main one, but
a writer, but somebody that's in that room and ask those questions. Yeah,
exactly. And like, I'm like, shit, dude, if they're starting to incorporate Rick and Morty, like, I could give a fuck if you get some guy who wrote Shakespeare, but you get a Rick and Morty write sci-fi. Jesus Christ, dude, you have upped your level. You got somebody you shouldn't have got, and I think this is a fucking fluke. The fact that they got that guy is a fluke because they couldn't. I mean, like, if this is a thing, if this is truly a thing, Captain Marvel would never have been made the way it was. Because like this guy, like to write a Rick and Morty, like they don't just get random people. They get people who comprehend the source material in all ways. You know, like because when you watch an episode of Rick and Morty, the continuity is there, even though there is no continuity. That's how powerful the writing is. You're like, yeah, that character would do that. Yeah, that character would do that in this situation, even though the situation has changed like to the highest extent. So the fact that they have this writer and they're doing this episode, I mean, like, fuck, what's next? You know what I mean? Like the fact that he put his foot there, he could have said things that could echo things, you know, for later on. You know, I don't know, man, but if they got Rick and Morty power, dude, Jesus. You're for a fucking.
Yeah, because Rick and Morty, it plays with the whole idea of the multiverse too. And they got a lot of rules that they got to follow within their shit.
They don't. But they don't though. That's the thing though.
Right.
They take a sci-fi concept and flip it on its head, and then they attack it on multiple angles, right? So like for instance, like the concept of a purge, right? They make that a joke, but it's there, and then they attack it at different angles. Like they create little situations where you're like, oh yeah, I didn't really think about that in the purge, you know, as I'm watching that movie. But they watch that movie and they create these things. What would happen if Iron Man was there? Because he's Rick, right? So of course he has the powers of I mean, just shit, dude. Well, there's a lot of little things when they make fun of the Avengers, right? They make fun of the tropes of the Avengers, and they create an original idea. Like so, the Ghost Train guy, he fucking dies and he uses ghost trains to fight people. I mean, that's just a stupid thing, but they looked at comics and made a parody that does not exist. It literally is a parody of a comic, but does not exist. Million Ants, that's a nothing. That's a nothing thing. That doesn't exist in any form, but they did that as a parody. You know what I mean? Christian Slayer is like the fucking random guy who's like Star-Lord. He's just some random guy. You know, I basically like they just constantly create these sci-fi tropes and turn them on their head, and they fully understand the concept of what they're doing. In fact, the train thing,
story train,
where they fuck up the entirety of narrative and story. You know, they understand the concepts of the hero's journey and everything, and they just create like a train that's some kind of a thing that relates to capitalism at the very end. I mean, dude, these guys aren't like writers who are just like, they're like high, like you got black belts, and they're fucking dragon lords.
And that's why I think that's why their episodes take so long to make. It's not the animation, it's the story.
Yes.
They want to make sure that what they're trying to say in there, that they're saying it right, and they're saying it in a way that jives with their logic and their own point of views, and not falling into a trap like, you know, going woke and creating, you know, trying to create the first female-led superhero movie. Oh, and by the way, make her the most OP character in the MCU, and then create this giant plot hole in the middle 20 years of your timeline, where now they got to try and find a way to fucking clean it up.
Yeah.
You know, if they had people ask the questions, what are we trying to say with this? What's our message, or what's the, you know, what is the thing that we're doing here with this, besides trying to beat Wonder Woman to the first female action movie or something like that, or the female comic book? It's not. No, it didn't work out. So if you got people in the writing room that are thinking like that and asking those questions, some people might be pissed off. They might be like, God damn it, why are they fucking asking these questions? But at the end of the day, it's gonna make their story stronger.
It does, and that's what. Yes, I mean, the best things in life come from strife. You know what I mean? Like you don't have an America without a war for peace.
Yeah, you don't have a constitution without a bunch of people arguing about it. You know,
like the best things in the universe is like through some explosive thing. You know what I mean? Like you don't have planets without like balls of gas merging into a sun. You know what I mean? Like everything. And then like you take it to these stories, right? Like they have to be fighting these things out. And like, I mean, like the train episode, although I didn't really enjoy as much as the other episodes, I mean, that is a very powerful episode. Yeah, it's yes. I mean, like you look at that and you're like, it's goofy, it's funny, but like they turned concepts into a story. You know what I mean? Like the very concept of a thing into a story. And I don't even know how to explain the thing that they did. You know what I mean? So it's like I could see it. I'm like, wow, like they encapsulated a concept and they made that a thing into a they reverse engineered it, you know? And I'm
Right.
like, oh shit. And so like the fact that this guy is a writer in episode 5, and by the way, in episode I was like, whatever. I mean, the fact that they have talent out there, they are very cognizant of multiple timelines, people like that. So, and I theorized that they got him because he's on Rick and Morty. So, like, they were like, yeah, we'll do that because, you know, timelines, it's the same kind of thing. I don't think they understood what they were doing when they did it. It's just too bad that the episode didn't land the way it should have, because I don't think episode 5 ends in a way where I'm like, oh, like, not like episode 4. Episode 4 ends. I mean, that ends, but like it's a really good episode. I mean, it really is there. There's a lot of good instances. Episode 5, really, there's nothing like
Well,
you don't hear the music. You know?
We we don't know the full context of episode 5, right? I think episode
It's
5
there.
well, I think we have the pretext, what came before, but we don't know what episode 6 is gonna do, right?
Yeah, but that's not a thing in which, like, because I know the next episode, that makes that episode better. When I'm watching episode 4, I didn't know what the future was for this episode. It was still that good. And now that I have episode 5, 4 is still good.
Episode 4 could have had a lot of people at the end of their arcs. You know, Mobius finally, realizing he's part of this machine.
Yes.
And deciding to leave it. You know, he's taking the red pill and deciding to go outside, and gives his life for his friend. Could have ended right there.
I agree.
Loki too, almost, coming to grips with having a connection with somebody, an intimate connection with somebody.
Yeah.
And then dying.
Yes.
That could have been the end of his arc too. He had lived his whole life fucking people over, not having any real connections to anybody, and then finally had a real connection with somebody, and was trying to help them and paid the price for it.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvie bringing down the TVA, that could have been the end of the TVA. If they hadn't pulled the rug out and those 3 had been the TVA, that could have been them dying, right? So episode 4 almost could have been the end of the story, but it does keep going, and it does it in a good way. Episode 5 and 6 could be companion pieces to each other.
That's true.
The way that 5 ends, there's something else to do. There's more questions to be answered about this end of time that we did not know existed in episode 4. We didn't know it was a thing. So it's almost like this is the third part of a trilogy, and episodes 5 and 6 are going to be that third movie. Creating this new conflict being, hey, there's this thing at the end of time and there's somebody on the other end of it. We thought the main bad guy was dead. Turns out they're not. There's somebody else pulling the strings. Let's go find out who the fuck it is.
So we're for predictions of 6 to make this show good, where do we want to see Loki?
At the end of it?
Fuck. Right? When we first watched episode 1, we were like, where do we want Loki? We even talked about that, and I don't know where we landed. So here we are.
Could he reinsert himself after Loki dies and basically reinsert himself to now?
Of course he could. I mean, duh. That's a.
Well, he could pick a time.
Yeah.
Where should he go?
Yeah, he could. It wouldn't make sense to jump it. I mean, they can make. You can do whatever you want. Honestly, he has all that power with that little temp pad. He has all that power.
I would want Loki to. Well, and now they wrote it in that the temp pad runs out of power, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you just go take a trip to the TVA.
If it's still there.
Mobius goes to TV. Mobius says, I'm going to burn it all down. It goes to TVA. Who could write that he sends him a 10 pad? I mean, that's not hard.
And who's to say that the 10 pad is the thing that takes you from one place to another and not the connection to it? Like a cell phone only works with other cell phones so long as there's a network.
Okay.
That's
so to say that
if the TVA goes down, maybe those 10 pads stop working.
it's a bad writing move for Mobius to be like, yeah, you know what? Fuck Loki. The guy who showed him the truth. No, Mobius does not unless he dies, he's gonna help out Loki in the end. I mean, like that's just
yeah.
Without this, so here I am. I press a button. TVA is gone. No more 10 pads. Okay, so be it. I'm still helping Loki at the very end. Where do you want to go? I mean, that's just gonna happen. That's unless Mobius dies. Whatever on that. So here we are with Loki. He's gonna figure out some shit. Where do we land him? Do we land him back in the MCU? We have to, right? Because we're creating phase 4 or whatever. We have to create the new bad. The new bad, it has to be fucking Doctor Doom, whatever. But like whatever, they gotta create the new bad. That's it. I mean, if they don't, whatever. But he's gonna go back into the main MCU timeline. It has to be.
Bring him back, and he basically plays the Hulk role of telling everybody, "Hey, this thing's coming."
Maybe, yeah. Is that what you want for him?
I think that would be cool.
How do you resolve the Sylvie arc?
Fuck.
Right? Because now he's found this chick he wants to be with. Maybe he just retires.
Maybe Loki disappears and we're with Sylvie. Trying to find Loki.
No.
Trying to find a way to get Loki back.
No, think about what you just said. So old Loki, who's all intents and purposes our Loki, who just escaped, got bored and left. So you got this guy, Loki, who has the foresight now, who has seen the future in a weird way. He's seen his future self and got bored. He has a connect. We've established that he has a connection to his fucking family, his fucking lineage, everything. He's got Sylvie. There ain't no way he's letting that go unless she dies. And if she dies, his whole arc would be trying to bring her back, regardless.
I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying that it would be backwards, and this is why. Tom Hiddleston is expensive. Whoever's playing Sylvie is not expensive. So you could put her into the movies with like Doctor Strange or whatever, and she's kind of like on her own mini quest to find Loki again, to find out where he ended up.
So you would make Loki the point of leaving in some weird contrite way.
I would make him her motivation for going back to the Avengers and trying to work with them to get back to Loki.
And it creates a woke ideology, right? Because you got the female Loki and then she's there. And she's like trying to fucking find Loki. But like up to this point, though, we haven't created a situation. Like I know they like each other. I get that, right? But it feels more like he likes her more. And now, of course, you could write that she likes him as equally. But they haven't.
I think right now she has a stronger motivation than him because the TVA hasn't been destroyed.
Yeah, well, yeah, she wants to destroy the TVA. That's her strongest motivation. She'd rather do that than be hedonistic like Loki, right?
And Loki right now is learning what it is to be a friend, to rely on others, and for others to rely on you.
And what love is.
And yeah, either friends or intimacy. You know,
I think you're right though, that it will end with Loki gone for whatever reason, and then the new Loki would take over. That makes more sense.
Yeah, take over, not as Loki, as Sylvie, but on a quest to find Loki or get Loki back.
Yeah, but like take a step back. It's because of woke virtuosity.
They're not. If this is Kang and Kang is somehow able to control time, I don't think they defeat him. I think Sylvie just tries to find a way. I think he gets away. She loses Loki, and she's just going to be on a quest to either get back to Kang, to get Kang to help her bring him back, or something, right? But she's not going to be able to do her own, because she's not going to have a 10 pad anymore. The time network is going to be gone. So she's going to need the help of the Avengers.
Or whatever. To get Loki back.
Yeah.
To get Loki back. Yeah, you're right. This ends with Loki disappearing. There's no other way. Because it doesn't make sense any other way. Because if Sylvie's alive, if Loki's alive, those two are going off to do their own thing. They're
and their arc could end later after phase 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
and it would. Yeah.
He would come back for one more movie. Yeah. Fight with them, you know, she would find them, they would end happily ever after.
Yeah.
And he could move on with the rest of his career because they can't stay in the MCU forever.
No, they can't.
You know, and Thor's not going to stick around forever.
So logically, it has to end of two of the following ways. Loki gets done in some weird way, and then the new phase 4 is her joining the Avengers because she's cheaper. And then
it gives Thor another motivation too.
Yes.
Imagine Sylvie shows up and she says, Loki's still out there.
Yes.
We gotta find him.
Yes. And then it all works together.
Yeah. And then at the end, fucking Thor reunites with Loki and tears and.
But let's talk about what
this time Loki's not gonna fuck him over anymore.
Let's talk about what we want though. Like, yes, it makes sense that they'll do that, but I want Loki to live. So in that respect, it would be then Loki looking for Sylvie then, because there is no situation in which Loki and Sylvie are together. Because if they're together, guess what they're going to do? They're going to stay together, and that's it.
Yeah,
they're gone. You just write them off.
Yep.
Because those two will not live to let's cause mischief or no. They'll just do their own thing, create their own adventures. So it's one or the other pursuing another. So I would want Loki to pursue her. For whatever reason she does whatever the fuck she does, for whatever trite story they come.
Well, right now in the show, Loki is pursuing her.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, so it has to shift.
And it would be a shift. She realizes at the end, after the TVA is gone and everything, she realizes that's all I have left. That's what I have.
So they destroy the TVA. He says he loves her and disappears, and then she realizes she loves him too. She has to go find him, and then that's your story arc.
Han Solo, dude, fucking Han Solo disappearing, and them going out and finding him. Loki disappearing somewhere, and them going out, and like Luke Skywalker disappearing, and them all going out to find him.
Yeah, this is how it ends. I mean, there's no other way. I mean, it'd be cool if Loki's still around. I don't know if they subvert that, but you're right. It's Loki's gone in some weird way, and she has to find him. Period. It's the only way.
I think Mobius goes back to Earth to live his life.
Oh, we're gonna totally see him on a fucking jet ski.
Yeah, on a jet ski, and maybe in a later movie, but really without any real power, just there.
He's done. He's done, dude. He's on a jet ski. Yeah, he's living his life.
And they might go back and just ask him questions about time travel, and he'll be like,
I
really don't have much for you."
Dude, literally, he could be on his jet ski, and I never have to see him again. I mean, it's cool. I like Owen Wilson.
No, I agree. I think they give him a happily ever ending after, but I think if they ever do bring him in, it's really more of like they need information, and he might or might not have it.
Yeah, if they even need to go back there. Yeah. I don't know. When they make the movies, do you think they'll take these shows in consideration?
They have to. Yeah, it's not like the other shows.
Daredevil.
No, I think they said that WandaVision TV show, that's from there on, those shows are the ones that count. Mm-hmm. Everything else is not canon. So they decanonized all of the other ones.
But I heard word they're bringing them back though.
Yeah, but not based on the shows that already passed.
Dude.
So even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't a thing.
Dude, have you watched Daredevil?
Daredevil? No.
Daredevil?
I just started watching MHA, My Hero.
Wow. What season are you on?
Season 1, episode 11.
I'm all in. You're good. Keep going. Fuck Daredevil.
This first season has been a tough watch because I don't like narration. I don't like hearing
Yes. There's a lot of explanation. Yeah. But that's shonen. You in a shonen, that's it. You're like more of a mecha kind of guy, and there's not much explanation with mecha. You kind of have to just know shit, especially the new Gundam that's out there. It's Hathaway or whatever.
Oh,
but like Hero Academia is by far the best demonstration of shonen next to Hunter x Hunter.
I'm enjoying it.
It's good. It's good. Oh my god, dude. You have to be in the right place though, because getting into a new show is hard nowadays for our age. Yeah. Because watching a new show is like, gotta commit that time. And so as you're watching it, you're thinking, oh shit, I gotta do shit, I'm burning up all my time for this fucking show. Give me what I want, So, but the only reason I'm into it is because I have my kid. We're watching it. He likes it. It's good, but it's good
right now, dude. It's big.
Yeah, but it's good though. That's the thing. It's good. Like I didn't watch it because I was like, oh yeah, I want to watch it. Shonen anime, whatever. They're so boring to me. But it's like the fact that my kid wants to watch it, he watches it, and so I'm watching it, not really giving a shit. But then it's that good. So if you give it a chance and you accept the fact that this is going to be a good ride, you're good. So that's how it works.
Yeah, what
I mean,
I've read and what I've heard is that the first season is a tough watch, but then from there on, it's all gravy.
Not for me though. When I first watched the season, I was like, there's a lot of crying, whatever. And I was like, it's good though. I enjoyed it thoroughly through and through. And then the second season happens, and you're like, oh fuck, I am never leaving this show. that second season happens, you're like, I will never watch it. Yeah, I will never watch anything else, dude. I'm fucking deep into that shit. But what are we talking? Loki theories. We're done, right? I mean, that's it, right? That's the end of it, right?
We'll find out next week what's up.
Yeah.
And then Black Widow, I'm gonna watch that this weekend. We're trying to
Black Widow feels like a kind of like a requiem for the old Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's good? You know what I recommend? If you could just watch Daredevil, but if not, watch with your girlfriend Jessica Jones. I bet the two of you will have a great time. The first season. That's it.
All right. I'll check that out.
With your girlfriend. I'm telling you, girls resonate with it well. It is a comic book kind of thing. But I go, the way it's written, it's as if they were like, we have a story. Let's do this. And they do it. It just so happens to be Marvel. But it's really good because it gives you because I mean it's really well written, and it has that kind of like nerd mentality, like, oh, what would this character do if they had that, or what would this character do if they had that? Because if you can get past that, then you can watch. I mean, Daredevil's so good, like those properties that they created. I could tell it's a little bit too in your face because it's like a lot of sex in there, and it's just unnecessary. But the way they wrote those shows is really good because then you get the Punisher, and that's my secret goal. If you can get to Punisher, Jesus.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of Punisher.
Jesus.
They look good, man.
Dude, well, when Daredevil, the second season, when Punisher comes out, they have this whole trial, which is in the comics, and like they basically come up with a foolproof plan of him being innocent, and it would have worked. But the Punisher's like, I'm not crazy. I meant to do that. It fucking makes sense that I did that. They rape people, I kill them. I was like, yes. But like Daredevil was cool too because there was a lot of heart to it. And as I get older, I like a lot of heart because it's kind of like there's a part where Daredevil's fucking all these bad guys up, and you know why he's doing it. And it's because they were doing a thing to a kid at the end of it. And he takes off his fucking mask because he can't see, right? It doesn't a mask, whatever. But he takes off his mask. He goes, he touches the door. To this point, you don't know what's going on. So he touches the door, takes off his mask, and then you see his kid, and the kid cries, and then he holds him. By the way, homeboy can't see. So he's just like doing these things for the kid.
Right.
Like the fucking killing and murdering of these people, that's for him. That's really what he's in for. But he does the part where it's like, I'm the good guy. Don't want to creep the kid out with my fucking scary mask. He's been through enough. I take off the mask and I go and help him. And I thought that is beautiful. But
that's putting yourself in the character's mind and not just doing things just to do them, but really thinking about the decisions that they would make.
Yes. Yeah. Cinematography, writing, and the way the actors portray, it's like a perfect symphony right then and there. And that's rare. And a lot of shit doesn't do that. So Netflix got it right by accident, I would say.
Well, it's like I started watching Invincible again.
I fucking love that show.
Fuck, man.
Yes.
All the characters, you get a chance to spend some time with them, and how they're reacting to what's going on. The really big one is Nolan's wife.
Yes.
When he's in the hospital, they could have just said he's in the hospital, he's gonna be here for a while. Cut to the next scene, and she's like, no. They're like, okay, go home. She could have gone home, or she could have said, I'm gonna stay. But she's She doesn't just say, I'm going to stay. She says, I've been patching him up for 20 years, you know? And then she says, go get me this, this, and this. And it's stuff that like, fuck, I probably wouldn't have thought of it, but you know that she knows how to take care of her man. And then they, you know, they still try to get her to go, and she still fucking stands her ground. Like, she's going to be with him no matter what. And you learn that about her, you know, and it's not through exposition. It's not through like, you know, her just telling somebody about what she knows and how, and no, her demonstrating it through her actions that she's been taking care of him. She knows how to take care of him. And, you know, even if she's out of her league medical wise, she's still going to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
And it just shows you the truth of that nature. It's like, that's how much she loved that guy in that instance. And so that it pays many dividends later on. And it's funny that you said that, because I forgot about that. You know what I mean? Like, you watch that and you go on this wild ride, and he's like, she's a pet. But like, so when he fucking fought a Chitauri or whatever the fuck he fought, and he's fucking dying and shit, and she's fucking helping him. I mean, like, whatever it is, whatever you want to think she's a pet, no, he fucking loves her, dude. And that him saying that she's a pet is him trying to force this mentality of like, fuck this lady. I've lived for thousands of years. Fuck this
it's so painful for him to have to do what he's meant to do, that it's like he's deluding himself into thinking what he thought when he first got here.
Which creates this perpetual engine of why he's so violent about shit, why he's shoving his kid into a subway. You know what I mean? Like, he probably wouldn't have done that kind of shit, but he really is feeling this hate, this hurt for himself, because, you know, he's giving up all of this. So he's like, fuck this,
rip it
world.
off. You know, he has to rip it off. It's almost like he has to do something to the point where there's no point of return, where he has to do the thing that he's meant to do, because he's done so much bad shit. It reminds me of, remember Heat? You watched Heat, right?
Heat? Oh, yeah. I think it's Heat.
Okay.
I'm like, Heat, man.
Al Pacino gets home, finds another dude watching his fucking TV, and, you know, he's pissed off, right? His wife tells him that shit was so bad, she couldn't get away from him, so she demeaned herself with Ralph to get closure with Al Pacino's character. It was like she did something so bad and let herself get caught at it, so that they have to make a change, so that they have to confront this shit, that they can't be together anymore. You know, because she loves him so much.
I fucking forgot that, and now I have to watch Heat.
Yeah, it's such a great scene, because she loves him so much. She wants to be with him. She wants him to share, you know, his life and what he's going through, not leftovers. But she's taken it to the point where she just fucking got all drugged up, went and fucked this dude to get closure with him, to end it. Did something so bad that she knew he wouldn't put up with, to get this thing to fucking end. You know, to end their marriage.
Yeah.
And so when I think of what Nolan's doing, after 20 years of saving everybody on the planet, he's basically, you know, like cheating on his wife, and then letting himself get caught, because at this point he's just doing it out in the open, right?
Yeah.
There's cameras and shit, and he don't give a fuck. He's going into the city, killing countless people, because he's already, it's like he's ripping it off himself, you know, like ripping out a bad tooth to get this thing off of him and go back to what he was supposed to do 20 years before.
That was such a good link from Heat to that. I have to say, that was amazing. That was an amazing link right there. Oh,
I mean, it's things that it's from real life. You know, when sometimes you don't know how to end something, so you just fuck it up so that it's done, it's over, I can move past it now.
Yeah. And like, because we're talking about superheroes or great heroes, you know, because of Heat, they have to do it in an epic way, right? I mean, like, what's more epic than throwing a kid into a subway or cheating on some fucking nasty person, just so you know this shit needed to happen so this could end. Here you are, a fucking paragon of truth. Take this truth, you know? I mean, like, this is how it's gonna end, paragon, you. And yes, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen that in real life. So
Yeah. Well, everything has its own proportion, right? If we're talking about like the best cake eater, you get at him for some random thing like that. But you're talking about a fucking hero detective, right? How do you take that guy down? Well,
what I like
Ralph.
about Invincible, there's no internal monologue or narration, so you could kind of fill it with what you want. At what Nolan's feeling at the end is basically like fuck.
No, what's better than that is in the comic there is a monologue.
Oh, okay.
However, they're so good at writing, they illustrate it, so you don't need a monologue. So, I mean, that's pretty good because like a lot of anime does a lot of monologuing, because they don't have the power to illustrate what the character's thinking. Because like if you're really good, you can illustrate what someone's thinking through action. And
he looks at the blood on his hands and he's like,
exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah. No, when he's yelling at this kid, he's like, what did you think? What do you think? Like, look what they got to do to even like do a fraction of her power. We'll live for 1,000 years, forever. Well, what are you going to have at the end of this?
He even gave an abuser's line, right? Look what you made me do.
Look what you made me do.
Look what you made me do. Yeah. And it's like, nobody made you do that.
Yeah.
You kind of did it on your own. Why did
you
make yourself
the monologue would be, I hate what I have done, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
I can't believe I did this. I can't go back to what I was before. No. Yeah. You see it in him, looking at it, thinking, fuck. He's right. I could have gone on being a hero, protecting this planet with my son by my side. Now I can't even do that. Now I can't even do that.
You can't go back. You can't go back.
I can't do that. And if I don't finish the job now here with my son, I'm betraying my planet. So now he's in the middle. He's fucked up in his alliance to his home, and he's fucked up, with the home that he had made it on Earth. And it's like there's no, how do you fix that?
Exactly. It's messy and it's well written, and I think that that's one thing that anime creates these cool little narratives and stories. They're really good, but you're right. They don't have the ability to create actions that that give us the monologue without the monologue. They always do the monologue. If you watch Hero Academy, they do it all the fucking time, and it's really good, and I really like it. But I wish they could create scenarios where like the actions speak louder than the words. Like you understood what the character was going through. And Invincible is just a fucking cartoon, but they do that. They create these things, and if you read the comic, there are monologues. So that's what they're able to do, and I hope that all fucking and like that's why that's why America is so good at making movies, is because they do that through the movie form. Like when you watch Loki, there's a lot of narrative going on and monologues that's going on in their heads, but you're not seeing that. You're seeing it with their face, their emotions. When Sylvie's dead, Loki's feeling that, and he's like,
I think that's more clever, only because you're seeing them. And again, you're filling them with your emotions, and you're having an interaction with the character because you're trying to read their face. You're trying to read their actions. And it's what we do in real life. We don't hear each other's internal monologues in real life.
Exactly.
That's not a thing.
It's a higher level way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if Loki would have played it like nothing happened at all, at nothing, no tears, nothing, it would not be a subtext of he cared.
You need an internal monologue like, oh shit, she's gone.
Yeah.
And I had feelings for her. What do I do now? What's my thing? What's my purpose now? No,
he's crying, but then he shoves it up into a smile to like, I don't care. Wait, and then then they wrote it so perfectly that Mobius is not giving a shit about him, right? He said it just kind of haphazardly. Then he looks up and he sees him and he's like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?"
Well, I don't think he's genuinely surprised, right?
No, but he looks up and he goes, "Wait, what's happening right now?" He says that. He goes, "What's happening right now? Like, you really give a shit?" Like that blew him away. So he's in a different world right now. He doesn't give a fuck about Loki. Shit's happening. He even said that as offhand, but that hurt him so deeply. That
I think Mobius was working off of a hunch. Which is why he told him that, oh, she's dead, because he wanted to see how he'd react.
Watch that scene again.
Yeah, I'll watch it again, but I mean,
I'm telling you, it's not what you think. It's literally, he said it offhand. Like he doesn't care. Like he thinks that Loki's in it for himself, and from the point of view where he's.
I think well, then why would he lie about Sylvie being dead? He lied about it.
Shit. No, I gotta watch it again.
No, he lies about it. I think it's because he has a hunch and he wants to see how Loki would react. It's almost.
You're gonna make me watch that shit again. You're gonna make me watch it again.
Well, I mean, I fucking do it with kids. Oh, I'm full. I'm full. Oh, you want ice cream? Yeah, then you're not full.
Well, I don't know. These are different things.
Not because I was gonna take them to get ice cream, but because I wanted to see if they were really full. If they say they fucking want ice cream, they're not full. They didn't fucking finish their food. They need to fucking eat. So I think Mobius here kind of threw that out. Oh yeah, she's dead, and then does it in a flippant way, maybe even to get Loki upset about it. Pissed off that Mobius doesn't give a shit. So he's like, it pisses him off even more that Mobius doesn't give a shit. Like, you just pruned her like she was nothing? She was something to me.
Maybe. I have to watch it again. Hey, I gotta go. I gotta pee. I gotta shit. I gotta do all this stuff.
Yeah,
so,
I gotta do it too.
I gotta go too. It's late too. I got a 12-hour shift coming my way in about 5 hours. So yay. All right. As always, follow us on Spotify, Podcast 2.0. I'm joking. I don't even know what that is. Apple Tunes, fucking SoundCloud, fucking everything where podcasts is. You can find us. And always be the better person than you were yesterday or tomorrow. Be that person today. Be awesome.
Put in a time capsule.
Or you'll be in a time capsule where someone's gonna say you should be alone.
Kick you in the
and always stay frosty. Wait, I'm not end meeting. I want to hit stop actually.